Ruby chocolate.
No, I don't know.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi,
Yo.
nerds.
Yo.
Jason is
Deciphering.
figuring out which chocolates to eat.
There's lots in there.
Dragonfire got noosh today.
Noosh.
Awesome. Congratulations.
I'm gonna be using some news
Yeah,
today.
it's actually a hell of an accomplishment. We got a box of chocolates. Mama always
There's a pink
said.
heart.
I do like the idea
pink heart.
of the ones with the salt on them, it looks like.
Yeah.
That makes the milk chocolate better.
That one's Himalayan pink salt peanut butter.
That
No.
could be good.
Sounds good.
That one's Himalayan pink salt peanut butter.
Hello.
That would be good.
You want that?
Not right now. That
it's-
one was plenty.
Pick the polka dotted one. There's a lot.
It's
don't think-
unfortunately milk chocolate again.
This place gave us a bit too much milk chocolate.
White chocolate's the best chocolate.
This one scares
Wait,
the hell out
Did
of
you just
me.
say white chocolate is the best chocolate?
Yeah, I don't like chocolate though.
Oh,
It's too bitter.
well, then all the white ones are Gabe's.
Yeah, that's what I told him. He can have all the white ones.
Yay!
I occasionally get a white chocolate mocha or a white chocolate peppermint mocha because I don't like chocolate in my coffee. But that's about it as far as white chocolate goes for me. Is it American chocolate or European chocolate? Oh, it's chocolate.
Don't even start.
Doesn't
it's
matter.
dark.
Chocolate is chocolate.
Chocolate is chocolate. It's okay. So you say European chocolate like they don't do all sorts of different chocolates. Like Europeans are responsible for milk chocolate, the Swiss in particular, and it's horrible, right? Whereas like the Bavarian chocolates, like the dark chocolate, now we're
Yeah,
talking.
Those are good.
I'm a bittersweet chocolate, right? So I'm like it has to be a minimum of 65%, right? And I prefer 80,
I prefer, yes.
like 80, like almost baker's chocolate style.
Baker's chocolate.
Yeah, I like chocolate to be
Ranger,
less sweet,
hello.
Yeah.
so milk chocolate doesn't do much for me.
Yeah, milk chocolate is.
It's all just sugar.
I like it to be more sweet.
so
Yeah,
sweet.
see, this one's scary because it's goat cheese and Chardonnay.
I mean, I would
Ooh.
try that.
That sounds good.
Should I do it?
Dark
Do it.
chocolate is amazing. White chocolate is an abomination.
White chocolate is not chocolate; it's a lie.
White chocolate is sugar. Sugar is good for you.
If you do the goat cheese one, can I have a bite of it?
Yeah, I'm just gonna take a little bite of it. I think it scares the hell out of me, so I'm doing it.
I am.
Oh, it's
got-
also
Very
like
intrigued.
it's also like metallic gold.
That's kinda fun.
Ooh, fancy.
So okay, again, this is goat cheese in milk chocolate, which I'm not a fan of, and goat cheese and Chardonnay. So the star means it has alcohol in it.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I already ate one with alcohol in it.
Oh, you did?
Feeling a little loopy.
Some strong chocolates then, huh? Goat cheese and Chardonnay isn't chocolate. That's wine night. Yes.
It's wine night, yes.
What are you thinking? What colors and explosions do you see in your head currently?
Wow, that's really good.
Is it good?
Uh-huh.
He went for another bite.
Yeah, she only gets half.
Oh.
Is it very is it really winey?
No, that's really good.
Okay.
It's like cream cheese.
Cream cheese.
I'm a fan of. Oh, I love the pattern on the front.
Right. Oh, I need to
The stripes. That is really pretty.
dry brush this first. I'm painting Battletech. Got all these dudes.
No. It took a minute. That's good flavor. He's not sold. He's giving us the Jen face. Is it getting you now?
Once I got past the chocolate,
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you just want the white part.
See, chocolate's
Yeah.
not good.
Hey, you shush.
Chocolate's
that was
not good.
milk
chocolate,
chocolate.
not good. I mean,
Chocolate
it's
is
not
like
bad.
is
Like I
supreme.
said, milk chocolate is a desperation move.
I'm not gonna play Alpha Strike. I will play regular Battletech. I don't know which one's regular, but for me, a regular Battletech.
Classic Battletech is what we play.
Great. The regular one.
Yeah.
I may try Alpha Strike at some point, but I like robots on table.
Grab one of the white ones.
Ooh. The maple leaf. What is that?
It said maple something.
See that?
Blonde maple metal.
Metal?
Melty.
Okay.
Blonde maple melty.
It's got metal in it. I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's metal.
Metal.
Do not eat metal.
Whoa, that's solid. That is a solid piece of chocolate.
Marzipan. That was Homestar Runner's girlfriend. Oh, there's a brown heart, too. Passion fruit.
Ooh, that's good.
Passion fruit. Is this one a hedgehog?
It's like eating solid creamer.
It is. It's a hedgehog.
Aw. What's in that one?
It says hedgehog.
What's in it?
It says hedgehog.
It doesn't say there's hedgehog in it?
Everything else tells you what's in it, and that one says hedgehog,
They're
so
not
I'm a little
vegan.
worried about that one.
Not vegetarian chocolates.
No.
Made with real hedgehog.
Are chocolates vegetarian?
I mean, they have milk in them, so technically.
Omicron, hello.
Oh, vegan is the no animal products, right?
Yeah, it just depends on who you're talking to as a vegetarian. I don't know what the hell that is. It's not on here.
You want to do a camo scheme for a lamp?
Oh, there's a backside. What the hell?
There you go. T. Schmidt said, I have more Battletech to paint and I want to do a camo scheme for a lance. Thinking about doing blobs, strips of silly putty for pattern masking. Any tips for that?
Can't you see I'm dealing with chocolate here? T. Schmidt.
I recall you saying that putty was what you used for all your camo stuff.
Blob
Silly
strips
putty,
of silly putty for pattern masking. Any tips? Put it on the model. Seriously, T. Schmidt, just put it on the model. The nice thing about the silly putty is that you can move it around once you get it on the model. Don't press it down really hard. Put it on lightly, and then you can move it around to get the shape that you want, and then you just kind of lightly press it on there, and you're good to go. Always shoot over the silly putty to the surface. Don't shoot back towards the silly putty if you can avoid it, because it still will bleed underneath it to some extent if you're not careful, because it doesn't have a hard edge. I don't know what that is. I'm on the back side, and it's still not showing me.
Uh-oh. Which one?
That one.
Oh. Oh, that looks like...
It looks like some sort of brittle.
Yeah.
Oh, it is here. Pecan caramel, maybe. No.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe?
Philip, you can come
Yeah, it
get
sorta
it.
looks
You can
like
come
it.
get a chocolate.
Phil can't have chocolate.
Huh?
Can't?
He can't.
He's not allowed.
Who
No.
can't?
Philip.
Oh.
Just because you said so, or is
Yep.
there a specific...
Jade, what's going on? Pate looks like Trogdor.
Philip gets weird when he has chocolate.
I'm
Does he?
looking at his thing in the bag.
I get weird when I don't have chocolate.
He said, shut up, Jabe. Shut up, Jabe.
He said, Shut
hey,
up,
Phil.
Jabe.
Hey, Phil, you can come get a chocolate. You just can't have any of the dark ones.
Or the white ones.
You can have milk chocolate all you like. Or you can have the pink heart.
What was in the pink heart?
It says rose.
Roses.
I won't like that.
I don't know what it is.
I've
You want to
just
bite a
having
lobe
those
off of
little
it?
pieces
It looks like a fanny.
reminded me that I don't like this type of
It
chocolate.
looks like a butt.
Can I see it real quick?
I
No.
don't like, I don't like these mystery
You can pick
chocolates.
one.
Which one?
You don't get to take it away.
Oh, I was gonna walk away with it.
You can have
You
the
point at the one I can take.
you
No.
can have that one.
Did you touch it already?
I touched all of them.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that the point?
I can sell it now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That is. Hang on. That. Oh, I don't know what that is.
No, those are my minis.
What do you get?
What have you done?
That's Himalayan pink salt caramel.
Oh, I love caramel. Thank you.
Caramel?
I will see you guys. About to leave.
Oh, you're
you?
leaving.
Oh, bye, Philip.
Well, in like 10 minutes. But I'm
Dang it.
Have a
Merry
fun
Christmas,
vacation.
Phil.
I'll see you
Maybe
next
for
week,
me before I
probably.
I don't think so.
Message me if like anything comes up.
No, I was just gonna
Dry brush.
have someone tell
Look
me
at
if mail doesn't get picked up.
Okay. I'll
Peanut butter and jelly.
Because I have him doing my UPS.
Okay,
Blech.
sounds good. Thank
I'll
you.
let know how
Bye.
Tuesday-
Enjoy your
Blech.
vacation.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Bye, Will Jen. Thank you.
Boom, 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 boom.
Phil also leaving for the rest of the year.
Yep. I'll probably see him though. Out and about, hanging out.
Does that feel lucky?
In the wild.
Yeah. I can hang out with Phil. Out in the wild. A wild Phil has appeared.
Okay, that was a lot of caramel.
Is this the Jason rates the chocolate stream? Which one's your favorite so far?
Not that one. It said cashew. I stopped reading it cashew.
Oh.
The word after cashew was caramel.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You don't like caramel?
I don't like anything that sticks to my teeth like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
true.
fair.
Drives me nuts because then I spend the whole time picking it out of my teeth with my tongue,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, because you don't want to do it with your hand.
I mean, I'll do it with my hand too, but somebody remind me this is here, otherwise I'll forget it and leave it down there.
You don't want to see me, Phil. That's mean.
Well,
That's so mean.
I don't want to see Jabe. He said I couldn't have chocolate. He did say that,
Yeah,
by
true.
the way.
You're not allowed to have chocolate.
I fixed it, though.
It's in the rule book.
I fixed it, though, Philip. I should take my jacket off.
I know, it's real warm in here.
Is it warm
It's-
today?
Oh, it's my nice
It's not. Oh, that too. It's not warm. I think it's just like trapping all the warmth in because of how wet it is
Yeah.
outside. Because it's been raining.
Yeah, it's humidity today.
Love waking up to the rain. One of my favorite things.
It's been raining, and the rain has made it warmer.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense at all?
Traps all the heat in. I think.
Does that make any sense at
I
all?
think that's how rain works.
I don't think it
Game
makes any
delay.
sense.
I mean, I see what you're doing for Philip, but Philip is leaving for the rest of the year, so you won't be able to sneak in. It's abandoning us.
Yeah, for a whole freaking rest of the year.
Yep, rest of the year.
I have a buddy who is also gone from work for the rest of the month, and he has been telling all his coworkers he thought he had a funny joke. He's telling them, "I'm gone for a whole month." I was like, "No, you're gone for the whole year." He's like, "That's funnier."
Rain in Arizona is not fake news.
Oh,
It happened.
what color are you using?
None of your business.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I just
I'm
want
gonna
to
put some dark warm gray on the
I
base.
just want to talk about painting.
I'm gonna put some dark warm gray on the base. Gabe's sitting here trying to do his job.
Just trying to talk about
It's
painting.
like I'm just trying to do my job. And you're yelling at me. Why are you yelling at me? How's everybody doing on Friday? Is everybody ready for Christmas? If you do that thing,
I am.
got all your gifts ready, Gabe?
I do.
Oh, really?
Uh huh.
All right.
I'm also a very good wrapper of gifts. My wife is not.
Really?
Oh, she sucks at it.
You know what? I'm not surprised that you're
terrible.
a good gift wrapper.
I do all the folds.
Yeah.
So I'll like fold it first and then, you know.
Yep.
Yeah. I probably use too much tape too. I'm not that skilled, but
You use too much tape?
I wouldn't say like too much tape, but like I'll fold the thing over, tape it, fold the thing over, tape it, rather
yeah.
than doing the 1-2
So,
tape.
yeah, I used to make fun of my friend's mom at the holidays because she was an like excessive taper,
Oh yeah.
like tape everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, did you just wrap the tape all the way around the whole package?
I'm not like
just
that.
Wrap it in tape.
Not like that. Yeah, my wife is terrible at gifting, wrapping gifts.
Ghost Hunter said, "What color are we putting into the noosh, and why is it going to be some kind of brown?"
Me?
I don't know, are you using noosh right now?
I did not. I'm not yet. I'm going to. Let me look at my list because I have it written down. Oh, wrong folder. See, look, I got all my recipes in my notes. Mech paint. We are going to use mahogany and burnt sienna, 50-50 with noosh. And I get the brown.
Mahogany, burnt sienna, and noosh.
Yep.
Nice. Some kind of brown. That's correct.
Mix of brown.
B Mini Painting said, "What's next for Pro Crow? What secret projects are going on?"
Ooh.
I mean, if they're secret,
The secret is we've always got projects going on.
Yeah. Also that. But I mean, we just released Noosh and the fluorescents. Those are still having their day in the sun, being very good. The continuation of Noosh content, obviously, to support that product, because that's a big one that people are gonna need edumacation, get some learning going on how to best use it. But we have 18 colors coming at Adepticon, hopefully.
Heck yeah.
So that's pretty big.
18 big ones.
And then we have the new variations of the Go Bag hitting in February. Probably late February, early March, something like that. They'll also be at Adepticon. Adepticon will be, again, another amazingly huge show for us with all sorts of new amazing things. But I feel like 18 new colors is the highlight of all of that. That's pretty crazy. We've never released 18 colors, except for when we brought the paint line out and released 29 all at the same time.
Yeah, we save them dollars. Save them dollar bills. 18 colors. I'm pretty stoked about it.
Yeah. It'll be great.
I like new things. Makes me excited.
18 new colors. Do we finally get that ultramarine blue?
Yes. Well, okay, that has not been decided if Ultramarine is going to be in those 18. It may be after the 18.
Are you able to disclose what your favorite color is that's coming up?
Ooh.
A little teaser.
No.
Or what family it is. It doesn't have to be the color, but it could be like. What are we looking at?
I'm a huge sucker for anything in the non-metallic gold range, and since we have an entire set coming out for non-metallic gold, there you go. It's the first time you're hearing that live.
Oh,
Secrets.
Dang.
I would say that probably one of those.
I am excited for that.
But the again, all of the colors we release are my favorite colors, so that's always the toughest question to answer. I tend to, when we release new paints, something, one or more out of the newly released set will become used in heavy rotation. And then it's fun. It's like Christmas going back and using old paints again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's like, oh, I forgot about this one.
Like Cap is the first time I've done the mahogany burnt red in a long time. Because I switched over to dark plum and some of the dark burgundies as my build up for reds. So Cap's going old school.
I've been finding myself getting analysis paralysis from trying to figure out what color like I'm gonna make something. So I'll look at my mech and be like, oh, do I want it to be green? Do I want it to be blue? Do I want it to be red? And then so I've started just being like, I'm gonna pick a color out of this bag that I want to paint with, and then we'll build it around that. So this one, I picked bright pale green. And I wanted to build the color scheme around it.
You still want to know if the Black Site Studios Case 01, it's Case 01. I like what you did there, Ghost Hunter. Will fit into the Neo. It will. It will indeed. But if you weren't around, we also have our own mini bag, right?
Yeah.
See this?
Cool bag.
This It's a very cool heavy duty bag. Monument.
I think Ruben said he wants his name on 12 of them already.
Yeah. Ruben wants a dozen of these day one.
A dozen.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're the perfect case, because it's just a great case, right? Just it has its own carry strap. It's nice, hard-sided, padded case that has pluck foam, right? Mm-hmm. So it's got your pluck foam. You can put your warband in it or whatever, and it has a really nice layer of very thick foam on the lid that compresses your models down. Sorry, I keep hitting the microphone. That compresses your models down. So like if you put a model in there that stands up, the foam lid on top will keep it from banging around when you shake the bag, because it still just stays right where it is, even though it's taller than the foam, because the top foam compresses it in there. So super nice, made super well. This fits inside the Go Bag Evo, fits inside the or has the Velcro, right? So that it Velcros to the back of the Neo and the Evo. And then those Velcro straps fold back over if you just want the case on its own. Got you. Is the non-metallic gold a Kenny co-op? No.
Should have said maybe.
Huh?
Should have said maybe.
Maybe. No.
Well,
Kenny was approached Kenny was approached to be our first signature artist. That's how long it's taken him to figure out if he has any colors he likes enough to call his own. Kenny is great because Kenny is a process painter. It's not about he uses, like lately he's been really painting more like CMYK. He uses a lot of the transparents and base colors and does a lot of mixing to teach you mixing theory and ways to use that in very quick, repetitive manners to get really great results. So to find a color that he really digs, his funniest thing was 6 shades of gray.
Yeah. Like, no.
Like, nah, ain't gonna work. All right. Wanted to get rid of the blue hazing on the base and figure something out here. I guess we'll
The new bag is smaller. It's a companion, so it's smaller.
Are you gonna be jealous of the new bag? I mean, you're gonna be jealous of everything we make, probably, but
But you won't regret your Evo purchase.
no, not at all.
In favor of this.
No.
So move the mic up. You might see it on screen there. So the Neo is the same form factor, right? It's got there you go, right? It's got the angled base, right? So it leans back when it's on the bench, but it is half size of the Evo, right? So it holds one 48 paint tray. It's got the underneath to hold your brush case and tools. It has the lid, will hold your palette, right? Or cutting mat or whatever. So just a very simplified, much more simplified version of the Evo, right? Still has the molly webbing on the side, and then it has a very large pouch in the back that is like, get your whole arm in there, right? So it's super deep, very large.
But the case overall is like a little baby Evo.
And then we're also coming out with our accessory holder. It'll hold a Nalgene bottle, as well as dice, whatever else you want, right? It expands, right? And that's our first molly webbing pouch. So it has the molly strap on it, so that just weaves inside the molly webbing. So that'll go on the side of the Evo or the Neo, like so. Then the mini case is really cool because you'll notice on the back, or on the back corner of the Neo, you've got those strips. And so the mini, the Go Bag Mini, just comes in here like this and gives it a big old hug, right? You just take those Velcro flaps on the Mini, and they secure right down the length of the back of the bag on both sides. And now you've got this backpack on the back of your Neo that holds, excuse me, miniatures and, and paints.
Chocolate going down the wrong pipe.
The mini case also attaches to the back of the regular Evo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm just choking.
Yeah. That's helping.
I'm excited to have both the Go Bag and the Go Bag Neo together, setting up right next to each other.
Yeah.
Because they're about the same size next to each other, so
Yeah, it's just a little smaller on the Neo.
yeah. But it'll be nice to carry all the extra paints.
A little off screen there, Gabe.
Oh, yep. I was off screen. I was
Sorry.
like, oh, it's not on me now, so I can just sit.
Molly, the Powell's webbing gives you flashbacks. That's a Warhammer.
Yeah. This is one of the first mechs I ever got.
You got it out of one of the salvage ones, didn't you?
No, this was out of a box.
Oh.
Philip's like, buy that one. It's got a Warhammer in it. I'm like, okay.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Sounds fun.
I know he's not here. Okay, I'm not gonna blame him. There you go. I found it. I was like, I know Jordan's not here. About to throw him under the bus.
That would have been great. I would have shown him the VOD and been like, hey, look.
Shown him the VOD.
Look what
Send him a
happened.
link.
Yeah.
Hey Jordan, check this out.
Check this fan clip out. Yeah.
We miss you. We miss you.
Oh, I missed a spot.
Okay, what are you doing for Christmas?
So we are gonna have my wife's family over in the morning
To your place?
to our place,
Nice.
and then we'll probably make our way over to my parents after that. Christmas Eve has.
So when you say your wife's family, like parents and then Maddie
Yes.
also? That
Yeah.
comes nice. Are there any? It's just the two of them, right? Maddie
Yeah,
and Kid.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yep. So 4 in total of them. So that'll be nice.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, my family. So Christmas Eve was really big for my wife's extended family,
Okay.
and I don't have like a large extended family here, so we just didn't do a whole lot. Christmas Day was kind of the big thing.
Yeah.
So we would normally do a big Christmas Day thing with my family and Christmas Eve thing with her family. But she is serving in our church on Sunday, so she'll be, Christmas Eve, so she'll be gone all day, and so I'll have all day with my family on
nice.
Christmas Eve, which will be fun. Which
Nice.
our normal tradition was to sit in our pajamas and play video games. So
Fun.
we're gonna do that. My mom bought a Switch, so she's gonna be playing some video games.
Awesome.
My dad will probably play some games, sister, and then I don't know if my brother and his wife will show up because they just had a baby, but we'll see. Should be a fun time.
Jabe's a fresh new uncle.
Yeah, she's very cute.
Very cute.
Her name is Elizabeth. Elizabeth Fisher.
She had the cutest cheeks.
Yes.
Shelby showed me
She
those
is
pictures.
chunky.
And oh my
Big girl
goodness.
too, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shelby said she was like 8.5 pounds.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. She's a big
awesome.
one.
All in the cheeks.
Yep. I know. Yeah, she's got real.
They're so cute.
real
That's the
chubby
best.
cheeks.
It's like
All in
one of my
cheeks.
favorite. That's one of my favorite things about babies is when they have really chubby cheeks.
Yeah.
You just want to squeeze them.
It just won't squeeze you.
Yeah, she's very cute.
And they have their cute little baby noses.
Mm-hmm. yeah, so it'll be a good time.
Nice.
We'll see if I think they're planning on coming for Christmas, but we'll see. I know that like Fresh is in like a week ago.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they.
Like they brought donuts for us on Monday to celebrate the new baby.
Yeah.
That's how new the baby is.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it'll be a fun time. You guys have any fun Christmas plans?
We're gonna have some soup, and that's it.
Nice.
That's all we have.
Nice.
That's all we've discussed.
Soup, go. I like soup.
She already got her Christmas present.
Right.
Baby, where baby? Jabe is a new uncle. Jabe's brother and sister-in-law had a baby this week.
A baby girl.
A little baby girl this week.
Yeah, super fun. They're very excited. We're all very excited.
So exciting to have a baby at Christmas, but will be even more exciting next year when the baby actually is like
Yeah, kind of walking
more
around.
interactive and yeah.
But honestly, by that time they may have another baby, so we'll see.
Oh wow.
They're wanting to have a lot of
What?
babies.
Nice.
They're gonna be.
Isn't that called Irish twins?
Yeah. My mom and her brother, Irish twins.
9 months apart.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. We'll see though. They may wait a little bit and go, you know what?
Was it a bag of donuts? My Christmas present was not a bag of donuts, no. I thought it was art because we bought 2 nice pieces of art. So I thought that was our Christmas present.
But then I showed her up as I do.
As he does, always.
Had to be done.
I think I saw earlier. I just remembered Jabe painting a panther. I'm painting a lot of different mechs today. I think it's a panther. I think also a wolfhound here.
Wolfhound has the 3 lasers on the front.
Okay, so this is the wolfhound.
Yeah.
And then this is the panther then.
The PPC, yep. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I bought a couple BattleTech boxes. I'll buy them every once in a while, but I mainly like to open the salvage boxes because they're fun. Open a box, you don't know what you're gonna get. That's why I got this one, actually. Pulled a Mad out of a salvage box. I was very excited. Very, very excited. It turns into a big human, but takes forever. That's what I've heard.
Did someone say where baby?
Yeah.
What does it turn into?
So Jabe is a gambling addict. Check.
Yes.
Yes. I like dice games.
He likes loot boxes.
I like loot boxes and opening card packs.
Asked him before if we needed an intervention. He said, I don't have a problem. You have a problem.
I went to Vegas for the first time beginning of this year or last year. I can't remember how long ago it's been. I think it was 2 years ago. But my father-in-law taught me how to play craps. This is right when we started playing Warhammer. I'm like, playing dice games and winning money? Yes, please. And me and my wife had already set up like how much money we wanted to spend and all that fun stuff. But we learned how to play, and that's all I played the whole time. Because it's very fun. But I ended up running out of money, as you do, doing these things. And instead of like, I was more bummed that I couldn't keep playing the game. I was like, why can't I keep playing this game? This game is so fun. So
can't we just play it for funsies?
Yeah,
not
right.
money?
Yeah, I don't want money. I just want to play for fun. So I ended up, when we got home, I bought a felt craps mat and all the stuff for it, and I learned how to run a craps table. So
Nice.
now I do that for my friends for fun.
Nice.
It's a good time.
He's over there saying nice. He's admitting to illegal gambling. Jin's over there
But
like, that's
not for
cute.
money,
We don't
though.
actually put money on it.
Right.
We kind of do, but it's fake. Fake money. It's everybody has to buy their chips, but you can't ever pull out of it. So you buy your chips, and it's just a savings account for our friend group to go do something fun one day. So it's kind of just like,
So nobody wins anything.
No,
You
at
put
the
the
end of the
money in
night-
as a pool, and
Right.
and you all use it
so
together.
usually how it goes is like at the end of the night, if somebody won big, because you're able to just play over and over again because you're playing with pennies rather
Right.
than
Yeah.
$15
Yeah.
a bet, and so someone ends up getting something dumb, and they're like, here's $100 worth of chips, and they'll end up losing half of it before the end of the night, and instead of pulling that money out, you just next time we play, you start with that much.
Ah,
So
okay.
you just start with more to start the day with more fun.
Yeah.
But you always have to put in $5, and then we have this big savings jar that
Oh,
we're gonna
fun.
go do something fun. So,
So what have you done this before, or is this the first? Because you just learned it this year,
yeah,
right?
a couple years ago.
this-
So we've done it like 10 times.
So have you cashed in anything yet?
Mm-mm.
Do you have a plan for?
No, we haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah.
We thought maybe we would go play real craps.
Yeah.
Or we would go like on a fun trip or something like that.
Fun.
So we'll see. Yeah, that's it.
Do the local casinos have craps?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. At least I think so. Well, I looked it up one day, and I think they do.
A lot of them, I don't know, a lot of them are like no games of chance.
Hmm.
So it's all games of skill like poker.
Oh, gotcha. Aren't like slots games of chance?
That's what you would think.
Yeah, I don't know. The reservation casinos do have different rules and stuff, but I feel like they can have table games.
Yeah,
So-
it feels like.
Chuck the Mead Man, Merry Early Christmas back to you. Solitaire said, is it safe to use 3D printers in a room where you sleep if it has filters?
What kind of 3D printer?
These are questions that are very difficult to answer because you will find lots of opinions out there.
And we are not
And we are not,
experts
yeah.
or professionals.
I would
in
say-
health.
If you turn it on and it smells kind of funny when it runs, it probably isn't good for you to be in that room for a long period of time with it.
Well, resin itself is not, in its liquid state, is not toxic. It's toxic to breathe the physical particles in. So, but we've had doctors tell us in chat that, you know, there are people that have respiratory issues to just the gases themselves. And, you know, so again, it's always like we tell people with airbrushing, you know, if you have respiratory issues, asthma, whatever,
Yeah.
then stay away from all those kinds of things.
Well, I mean, I airbrush without a face mask, and you know, I probably should.
We
Have to.
we definitely
We
don't wear
don't.
masks
But
when we.
I
airbrush
think you
around
can make
here.
a solid argument that after airbrushing and you're pulling out blue burgers, it's probably
mean,
not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never.
I primed a
but-
lot one day and then later blew my nose and there was black in it.
Yeah. So,
But your nose is a filter.
up to you. You could always do it one night, see how you feel in the morning. If you're dizzy. And,
Try it. Let us know.
yeah. If you don't show up the next day, we'll know the answer. I've seen a lot of people do the like tents with a box fan that goes out an open window.
But when it comes down to it, we are not qualified to
Yeah.
give you a definitive answer on that question. Punisher said, I paint next to mine with mostly no problems at all.
Mostly.
Mostly no problems. At all.
Mostly. Pass out every once in a while.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're usually okay.
Sometimes I wake up and I've got paint all over the side of my face. I don't really know how it got there. But my print looks great. Sometimes it smells, but it doesn't seem to affect me any.
Yeah, the resin has a smell. And we know people that have said they get affected negatively by the smell, but they, probably get affected negatively by any
Smell.
smell.
Yeah. I was just thinking that it's pretty smelly. So.
I'm very sensitive to smells like cigarette smoke and such.
Oof.
But the resin doesn't affect me.
11 hours.
Okay, so Jason, remind me. I'm doing light. It is top, and then the side that I am. A panel, the top of the panel, and then the side the light's coming from, right?
I'm sorry, you're doing what?
If I'm doing edge highlights for
Yep.
light,
Yep.
it's on the panel.
If your light source is coming from above, then it's generally going to be the top edge, and then the side that you want your light to be on.
Okay, regardless of like the leg being like bent here, it's always going to be top side, top side, top side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes you get things that are out far enough that like that thigh plate, the upper hip thigh plate, you could probably highlight that front edge a little bit, but I wouldn't.
Okay. Just
You
go
know.
consistent top.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry so much as you're learning your highlight positioning about the dynamics of how the body positioning affects it.
Okay.
I would try to stick with the idea till you get used to the concept of lighting
Great.
directionality. And then you'll notice when things look a little odd if you have somebody doing a flying kick or something,
Yeah.
some superhero throwing their leg out or an arm out weird, then they're really, the top and sides change.
Mhm.
And so you just have to be thinking that what is the top, it's not necessarily the top of the kneecap,
Mhm.
it's whatever is facing the light source.
Okay.
So top and side are interchangeable. Don't get so locked into it being the top of this panel I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Think about how the panel is facing your light, and the top becomes the part closest to the light.
Cool. Okay, so closest to the light.
Yeah.
Great. And then on the edge here, like this arm, right? Because it's kind of like a square.
Yeah.
I would do both the top of the inside panel and the outside.
I'm sorry, inside panels?
So here, let me do my. So I would do up here,
Uh-huh.
right, and on the top over here. Or no?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you go around 360 degrees. Just be careful as you turn the model around that your light is now like rotating around. So like if on the front, where's your light coming from? The right? Okay.
So like here.
Yeah.
Or
So
like
his left, our right, right? Yeah. So you're gonna hit the right of each of those
Cool.
panels as you're looking at them.
Cool.
Now turn the model around. Where's the light coming from?
This way.
Yeah. So you're gonna hit the left of all the panels once you're looking at the back. That's the thing that throws a bunch of people. They tend to continue highlighting the right side when they turn it around. And so depending on which direction you're looking at the model, the
Okay.
lighting will change.
So if I have my light, let's say, coming from more of the front of him,
Uh-huh.
right, rather than directly to the side,
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't do the back then, right? Or does it just look better if I do make it more of a full side?
When
light?
when
Does that
painting
make sense?
things like BattleTech or forces where you're gonna have a squad, of things, typically I tell people it's best to pick 10 or 2.
Okay.
Imagine that the sun is going directly over your model. Pick 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock
Okay.
and call that the deal. As you start rotating the sun forward or backward, you start creating very dynamic light because you do start shadowing a lot
Right.
more of the model.
But
that
I
way.
wouldn't have painted it like this. I would have painted it probably a lot more shadow on the back.
Yeah.
Just
And that's
okay.
the thing, right?
Cool.
Is that it starts looking weird as a unit. It that kind of stuff I think is better left for individual models where
Got
you're really
it.
trying
Okay.
to create some sort of emotional content with the lighting or whatever, like busts and such. I typically don't worry about it. Like painting these guys, right?
Yeah.
It was literally just like you're going to get some cool shadow, but there's really no directionality with my lighting. It was just kind of above,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
And so you let the lighting find its way on the model through those initial applications, and then as you follow it around the model, you start to get your dark contrast areas seeding in. And it's less on the back of this guy, it's less about where my light's coming from than just the fact that it gives the idea that there's light in the space.
Got it.
Right?
Okay.
So worry less about particular direction and just more about getting it to be cohesive and all of it matching across the model, because that's where the eye finds the shadow moving towards one direction and light towards the other and makes it more real.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to do it like that then.
Black Wolf is loving chubby cheek cap.
Chubby cheek cat. He is kind of chubby cheek cat.
He looks so good.
Fun model.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying painting. Neat little palette cleanser, we call them. When you've been painting Gorger Maw Pack for 3 weeks.
I call it a painting break.
Yeah.
Painting break. Paint something different.
Phoenix, are you holding your brush too? Like, do you have a death grip on your brush? Your fingers should not be going numb when you paint.
Unless you're leaning on a table. And
Yeah, I was gonna
cut
say that's another one
circulation
too. Are you leaning on your forearms?
off. I wake up in my sleep and my arms completely
Numb.
I
numb, and I
get
have to,
dead arm at
flip
night
it up
too.
on the
Yeah,
it's awful. It's the worst feeling. 'Cause you're like, is this normal? Am I okay?
it's scary. I know. I have to shake. I'm like, no, I'm not. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
totally fine.
Am I okay?
And if you're not leaning, yeah, pick up your arms. If you're on your forearm, that could do it. Otherwise, maybe try like a brace of some sort. Like a compression, maybe like a little compression sleeve for like carpal tunnel.
Mm.
Do you do a lot of computer work, Phoenix?
All right. All right.
Yeah, be mini painting. Too much pressure on your forearms there will affect your fingers.
We always had that whole conversation and I already messed it up. Come on.
Do it, Gabe.
Cornflake Justice, hello.
You can do it, Gabe. I believe in you.
Actually, maybe I didn't do it wrong. Something like the top.
Let me see. Show me what you're painting. Yeah, along that lateral edge.
Is that front?
Looks right. Top and right. Yeah.
Well, that would have been the bottom technically, right?
What do you mean?
Oh, because it's the top of this though. Okay, so I did it right.
What are you talking about? Where do you think is the
Oh,
bottom?
so like if I'm looking at it like this,
Uh-huh.
I highlighted the bottom and the. And
Oh, that's not it. Remember, where's your light?
right.
Like, you
Yeah.
always have to think about it with regard to where's your light.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time to do exactly what you're doing now. Think about it with the relation to your brush, right? The light on cap here is coming from like here. Again, I'm practicing what I preach, right?
Yep.
2 o'clock, maybe 1 o'clock, right? So all of my light hits like this side of his head, this side of his head stays dark, right? Things like that. And so if you're ever worried about it, just however you're holding your model, do this and then think about where the light's coming from, right?
Yep.
And just point your brush at it. Your brush is your light source.
Gosh dang it. Okay, well, we'll leave it. We messed it up, but we'll leave it for now. We'll go back and fix it later.
You're fine. Got your big old head in front of the camera.
Oh yeah. I know because Jordan paints lefty, and so he has the
Oh,
model
yeah.
like this, right?
Yep.
and everybody can see it. I paint righty.
How's it feel? Huh? Right, boy?
Sucks. It sucks.
How's it feel?
It sucks.
How's it feel that the world doesn't care what hand you paint with?
I know.
Scissors. That's all I gotta say.
Notebooks.
Notebooks.
Spirals.
Scissors. How's it feel over there, Gabe?
Computer mice.
They make left-handed ones now. Don't hear
Like, I don't want to hear it. It's like, stop your bitching, lefty. That's all I've heard my entire life.
Ghost Hunter said, Gabe, it's not a mistake, it's bounce lighting.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah. Just a big, thick line of highlight.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Sure, whatever.
Yeah,
I've tried
yeah,
my
yeah.
hardest here.
Yeah.
So Phoenix and anyone really, I can show you some very quick wrist stretches, and wrist and finger stretches that will help you a little bit. And that, if you've got anyone who has, if you're painting for a really long time and you feel like your hands are starting to cramp up a little bit, you want to spread your fingers out really far like that, and then fan them closed, and then point your wrist, or point your knuckles down, so you're stretching the top of your wrist right here. And then you do it all 4 directions. I move my mic a little bit here. So then you'll go in this way, and then fan them closed, and put your knuckles back so that your wrist is stretching on the top. And then you do down, which I can't really do to show you on camera, but you go down and then point your knuckles towards you, and then whatever other direction I didn't go, outside maybe. I might have, Houdini. Sorry.
I might steal Jordan's painting handle. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Wahaha.
Mean.
For April Fool's next year, we should release some left-handed brushes.
No, that's funny.
No, that's a lawsuit. Trust me, people don't get jokes.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh yeah, we've seen.
I bought these. They said they were for lefties. I'm a lefty. This is no different than my righty brushes.
That's false advertising.
Oh my god.
Some left-handed painting handles.
Yeah. A little bit of steel buckles. All right. I think it's time for some white transparent on the white bits. I have the angriest bottle of white transparent on the planet.
What happened?
It went through the labeler, and the labeler like tripled up
Oh,
labels.
and someone tried to peel it off. Yeah.
So it has like 3 labels. I had to peel, like you can see, like one of them's here, and one of them's on the bottle the right way, and one of them got peeled off. It's just all over the place.
T. Schmidt said our football coaches used to send the office helpers around the school for left-handed footballs at the end of the school year. I'm gonna need you to go round up all the left-handed footballs out there. We need them
That's
back
awesome.
in.
That's great.
Fireark said, my son is a lefty. I had no idea how many things in the world were made just for right-handed people.
Yep.
It is a plight,
Yeah.
for sure.
Laugh it up, fuzzballs. I learned to cut with my right hand because left-handed scissors were abusive.
Trying to use them.
Well, and they were probably pretty hard to come by.
Yeah, that was the thing, right? You just could never find them.
In an elementary school classroom, maybe you had one pair. we, had, we had a kid that was asked to go to the science equipment room and ask for a long wait. WEIGHT. He was there for 2 hours. It's a pretty long wait.
Why would they? Oh, for a long wait. Yeah. Funny.
All the coaches were in on the joke, so each time they'd say, "Oh, I gave those to the other coach." Someone already came by for that, for mine.
I thought they just left him like a wait. You know? Can I get a long wait? Yeah, sure. Sitting here for a half hour. I'll take the table with your longest wait, please.
Houdini7 said my dad used to send new employees to the local hardware store for a glass shelf stretcher. Was that
Awesome.
what was, like something to stretch a glass shelf?
Oh, you people are mean.
That doesn't even make sense. I think it was my cousin that fell for the blinker fluid and
Yeah,
went
I was
into
gonna say, it's the blinker fluid
car
thing.
place and asked for blinker fluid.
That's awesome. That's great. Those videos are so funny. Hold my breath too long.
I breathe while I paint,
Make sure
buddy.
you breathe.
The transparent white will, if you just take it a little bit of dampness on your brush, it'll smooth out the differentiation between the gray and the bright neutral gray and the dark neutral gray, or the neutral gray that we've got on there, and start bringing them up more towards white. Remember, we haven't painted any white on this guy until this transparent white.
It just looks so good. I can't stop looking at it.
Kind of treat the transparent white almost like a wash. It's not moving on the model like a wash, but your application is more like a wash, and that you're putting it into the recesses. So unlike other highlight colors, I want it down in between the muscles and stuff because it just kind of blends all of my grays together, right? And paint the underside shadows where we left just the pure neutral gray, which is our darkest color on this.
Used to send people to look for Humvee keys.
For what?
Humvee keys.
Oh, Jesus.
Houdini7 now it makes sense. He had a glass shelf that was too short for the shelf and would give it to them to take with them to get it stretched.
Take it to the frame shop, maybe. Yeah, the frame shop couldn't do it. All right, take it to the window place. King of wild goose chases right there.
Was he like in charge so they were intimidated to question it? Because I would have been like, what are you talking about? You are insane. But if it was like my boss, then I'd probably be like, okay.
Let me get this right. You're of the mind that you can pull glass?
Family owned business, okay.
Maybe this isn't the job for me.
So yeah, he was in charge.
That'd be a great prank to pull on a new person here. Hey, can you go check the left-handed brushes?
Jason asked them to go do something that that's not even possible.
We have left-handed brushes? Yeah,
Yeah.
Jason's left-handed, so he told us we had to.
You got to set him up with a scare. You got to be like, oh yeah, don't ask about it either. It's
Yeah.
a very sensitive subject.
Yeah. Did you go?
They
ask
strapped
Jason?
his left hand behind his back as a child, tried to force him to be right-handed. He is vicious about right-handed. So if he ever asks you what hand you write with, you tell him my right, but I wish I wrote with my left, sir. You would have somebody around here who would never come to my end of the building, is what you would have. I would like walk through the building and I'd be like, why does that person hate me so much?
I'm
It
totally
would really
doing
be
that.
trolling me. It would not
Yeah.
be. It would be trolling both of us, is what it would be doing.
I'm definitely gonna do that. Well, it's funny because your confused face can be intimidating sometimes. Because and so I just imagine a new person coming and being like, "Hey, I need the brushes. Gabe sent me for, the special brushes. And, what are you doing in my office?" that kind of a look. That'd be so good. I'm gonna do that one of these days.
Oh, I'm gonna hate all of you.
Who might fall for it? Paul.
Paul would fall for it. I don't know if we could do it to anyone here that's already here.
You think
They
they
have to be the next new
I
hire.
feel like Paul might fall for it.
You probably
Tartan paint is a good one. The glass hammer. You give me a glass hammer. Any hammer is a glass hammer.
Is it hammer for glass or hammer made of glass?
Yes.
Oh,
Same thing, right?
yep.
Those are not mutually exclusive. Yeah.
One-time use. Is anyone staying for games tonight?
Gabe is.
Heck yeah.
Teaches his mom how to play BattleTech.
Yeah,
Your mom's
I am.
coming?
My mom is gonna be here.
Awesome.
Try to convince my dad to come learn BattleTech too, but my grandparents are in town, so
Oh,
I guess they gotta
your
do
mom's
that.
like, I'll come.
Yeah, my mom's like, great.
As soon as I knew that, I was
love
like, after
it.
that conversation at dinner the other night, I was like, okay, I get why she's coming. We'll have a Shannon tonight. And Shannon will be like, can we go to dinner after?
Yeah. Anybody want to have a slumber party?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can I
halfway
move
through it,
can
I
I
bet
move into
Shannon's going to
someone's
be
house
like,
for the next
so this is a great place for sleepovers.
Cantankerous AP, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub.
No, my grandparents are great. They're just from a different world,
Yeah.
so
Where are they from? Like, where do they
Jupiter.
traveled here, right?
Jupiter.
From some...
yeah, Washington,
Oh, okay.
Washington State.
Is that where your dad's from?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's where my dad was born. I was actually born there too, and my brother. A lot of my family lives up there. They've now kind of
Oh, that's the hipster roots.
Yeah, they've kind of dispersed now. It was Spokane, Washington. So
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Country.
not really hipsterville.
no. They're great, but my sister was telling me that yesterday morning she woke up to my grandpa boiling an egg at 6 a.m. Just it's too early for
As you
that.
do.
It's too early for that.
That's just an old person thing.
Yeah. Yes.
That's not a Washington State thing.
Yeah,
That's
No,
just
no,
a,
no.
Well,
That's what
yeah,
I meant.
no,
It's
that's
more that they're
that's
just old.
yes, and that was probably sleeping in for him.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
My grandpa used to get
Yeah.
up
I
at
just
like,
went for a 10-mile hike, and now I'm.
yeah. My grandpa would get up at like 4 a.m, and that's just when his day started. Eggs boil faster at 6 a.m. # facts.
Yep. The dishes also do themselves better at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
He does do that, which is very nice of him to do the
Oh,
dishes.
that is nice. Yeah.
But it's at 6 a.m.
Yeah. Cabinets banging.
Yeah, big old pots, He's half deaf, so he can't hear all that.
Yeah, right. He doesn't know.
I feel like you're describing my future. Like, wait, I'm half deaf. I would do the dishes as soon as I woke up. Grandpa's bored.
But yeah, my grandpa would get up at like 4 a.m, go for a walk, and by the time he got back, the paper would have arrived, and then he would sit at the dining table, which had it was next to a big window that looked out into the front, and it had a view of the Superstition Mountains. It was beautiful.
Ooh.
And yeah, he would sit there and read the entire paper, And like before
All before school.
before I ever got up. Yeah.
Jeez. Sometimes I'll wake up early. I'm like, look how much I got done before my day started.
We do talk about that sometimes. Like if we on the weekends get out and do something early,
Yeah.
and then we're done by noon, like what do we do with the rest of the day?
But I
So
also,
great.
I
It's
we've
such a
already
good feeling.
we've accomplished
It
so
does,
much
yeah.
already.
Yeah, I do also get a lot done late at night though. So
Yeah.
if
Oh,
I
do
do
you?
it too often, then it's like, well, I'm trading my late nights for my
Yeah.
early mornings. It feels the same. Me and some of my friends are starting to play WoW Classic.
Oh God.
They're doing a new season. It's been interesting. I'm not super into that style of game. Too fetchy for me. But I like friendship, so I have FOMO.
You like what?
Friendship. Like playing games with friends.
Oh.
You know, just hanging out. They're all into it.
It's an absolute great game for that because of all the dungeons and raids
Yeah.
and everything else require a lot of teamwork
Mhm.
and coordination, and so it's a great. I met some really really good people playing WoW for years.
I'm getting a phone call. I'm gonna tell them no. No. It was my wife.
It was your wife.
It's
I'm
in trouble.
working.
She's not watching you? Does she know?
I think she knows. I told her. But I forgot.
No, she's calling to tell him to stop giving away family secrets.
Stop telling people I suck at wrapping gifts.
Damn it. You miss your boomkin druid? Yeah. I had a boomkin tree that I would do after they allowed you to be able to switch easily. When I started playing WoW, you couldn't do that.
Anne Marie Burgess said, when you're painting mechs, do you batch all of them at once?
I don't do all of them at once. Actually, I do them in bursts. If I do the same thing too many times, I get super bored. So, and that's just me having the attention span of a bird.
I'm the same way.
I'm the same.
So I have 5 here, right, including this one, that are at this stage of just highlighting now. I have 6 here that are, or 5, 6 that are just blue. And then I have a bunch that are just plastic.
If you're paying attention, for those of you in the seats off in the distance, maybe you can't see the screen, but Gabe likes big stuff.
Yeah. Also,
90% of his mechs are assault mechs, turns out.
I'm zoomed in too far, and I have no awareness of how where this is at the moment. There's a little guy. This one's funny.
That's a locust.
It's Christopher's favorite mech because he just runs around the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I bought boom boom boom
Yeah, he's got like 50 million assault
boom
mechs.
boom boom.
He's got all the big boys.
I saw a box of big boys. Actually, this is the one that sold me the box.
Yeah, longbow.
It's just such a cool mech.
The longbow is screw everything in that general direction.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what that mech
Yeah.
does.
And then I bought the starter box.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Oh, cool.
the
Yeah,
store?
Battlemaster, one of my favorite mechs.
So I got all those.
Battlemaster and awesome. Can't go wrong.
I think it's 8 of them that came in there.
5 atlases. Yes.
Cool one. I actually have 3 blackjacks.
He is a big fan of the blackjack.
I bought one box with a blackjack, and then I pulled one out of a salvage box. I was like, well, I've got to run 2 of them now.
Yeah.
And then Philip gave me one. So
Yeah. I was gonna say the blackjack is I like the blackjack in MechWarrior Online. I've never been a fan of it on the tabletop.
it's not great, but it's funny for the story.
It's like the Phoenix Hawk. The Phoenix
Yeah.
Hawk's great on the game and on online, but on the tabletop, kind of like meh.
Yeah. I like it for the memes, for the
Yeah.
fun of, hey, I pulled this out of a... I like doing that because I like building lists, but I also don't want to spend the time building lists all the time. I'd rather just play the game.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
I'm like, well, I pulled this out of a salvage box. Looks like this is going in my army. even if it's garbage.
That's the thing. BattleTech, nothing's really garbage. I mean, I'm sure there are. I've been lucky enough to stay away from whatever garbage truly is, but it's a game where you can kind of play by what appeals to you and still get the task at hand done. You know, I guess like any tabletop war game, if your opponent is a min-maxer, you're gonna suffer.
Yeah,
but play smart, you know, with your friends and let them know that, hey, I'm just playing stuff I think looks cool.
Yeah.
Do the Jacob thing, right? Where you just pick it by name.
Yeah.
One of the fun ways to play BattleTech, and people don't think about this because other tabletop war games don't really allow for it, is to draft. Put a bunch of mech data sheets out on the board, and then draft.
You pick them.
You turn them upside down. And you draft.
Ghost Hunter, no. Slavic said, how would someone start in BattleTech?
Buy the base set, man.
That's
the base set
Ghost Hunter said buy the starter
BattleTech
boxes.
is freaking awesome. It comes with 10 mechs. They're all good.
8, I think.
Panic Bomb too.
Oh, is it 8?
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's right. No, it's It's 2 lances.
Yeah.
It's 2 4-mech lances, so you get 8 mechs in it, and they're all good. They're all mechs you'll use. It's not one of those starter sets that gives you all the crap they can't sell, like GW does.
You can't even get these in other boxes.
A lot of them you can't. Well, now you can get the variations on them in other boxes, most of them. But yeah, you get 8 mechs that are really solid. You'll use all of those except for the Shadowhawk, maybe, and even it's a good mech. But yeah, all of those are really good. The Commando's great. The Locust is great. The Wolverine, I run 2 of those Wolverines in your left hand there. Yeah, I run 2 Wolverines. The Catapult is tremendous. The Battlemaster and the Awesome are tremendous. The Thunderbolt's tremendous. The Shadowhawk, that one you just picked up, is the only one that's a little bit iffy on the tabletop. It's still a really good mech. It's just that at its weight and points, the Wolverine that's in that kit is better.
He's cool.
But you could still pick the Shadowhawk and not go wrong.
This guy's funny because he's like, he runs super fast, but doesn't do a whole lot of damage. So you just.
You're talking about, man, he's got 2 medium lasers, 2 small lasers.
It's true. You have to run circles around and put them in the back. Put them in their back.
It will shred you to death.
You, yeah.
That's the kind of mech. In BattleTech, that's the mech that wins you games because it keeps your opponent defocused on the real threat.
Yep.
Because you just keep poking him in the back.
Yep. Yeah, you're so worried about getting shot in the back. So I bought it yesterday. I think it was like $60.
Probably, I think like 40. I think you can get it like $49 if you go on Amazon.
Yeah.
Like that.
I
but you go to Barnes and Noble, you can get it at retail too.
Yeah, my local game store had it, so I was like, oh, I'll get it from them. And comes with these. It comes with a booklet, kind of a quick start how to play, and then a sheet that has like a reference guide that we use all the time for like hit where you get hit and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
There is a starter box that comes with 2 mechs, and I would not do that one. I would get the.
The only reason that used to be worth it is because it had the Griffin in it. It has a Griffin and a Wolverine.
Yeah.
And so I did that so I could have my second Wolverine because Wolverines are tremendous. So it has value, and it's a great way to learn the game if you don't want to spend as much money because it gives you 1 mech versus your friend's 1 mech, and you'll get all of the stuff down.
Yes.
It's good. And they're not duplicates. You'll still use it. They used to have a Griffin I think they changed it. I don't think that thing has the Griffin anymore.
I don't know.
Or no, it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't have the Wolverine anymore. Maybe I think they put a Vindicator in it because the Wolverine was in the big box and they wanted to make it different. So that 2-player box may be different now. It may not give you a second Wolverine anymore.
But even it didn't have.
It comes with a Vindicator now. It used to come with a Wolverine and a Griffin, and I think they changed it to put the Vindicator in there because it was keeping people from buying it because it had one of the same mechs was a duplicate from the big box.
Yeah, it had it didn't have as big of a rule book. So it's just a quick start guide.
It's basic.
And it didn't even have the reference sheet in it.
Yeah.
But they have this box and then another box that's the same, which is the Clan Wars one. So there's the 2 sides, the Inner Sphere and Clan are kind of the 2 big ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of them was all Clan mechs. This was all Inner Sphere because I like the Inner Sphere stuff more.
T-Schmidt, after Christmas you can get good deals. I think that's one of the times where I went out and bought a bunch of the BattleTech for the office. It was going over to Tempe Marketplace to the Barnes and Noble over there and
heck yeah,
bringing them home. Thank you for the comment on the Captain America, Messy Nessie. Been having fun painting him. Thank you, Abyssal. What is going on? Welcome. I love these guys. I'm not a guy that gravitates towards painting IP that everybody knows what it's supposed to look like. because it doesn't give me a lot of artistic freedom. You know, I'm not going to paint Pink Spider-Man. I grew up with all these guys in comic books, and so I'm kind of like, you know, not really interested in painting direct from the books. But the Marvel United chibis are fantastic. They're like some of my favorite miniatures I've ever painted, and I've only painted these two. You know, it's like, I think I'm finding a trend here, because Percival's like my favorite miniature I've ever painted, and I think it's just
kind of chibi.
Fun chibis,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah, I did Thanos as a deal on stream to teach people how to paint without blending, so we don't have any blending on Thanos, and then this is all blending, right? So 2 different ways of painting that give you different results. But the models are just super cool. They make you want to paint them. They're a lot of fun. I had a blast painting Thanos. He's a good model. And next we'll paint Red Skull. I'm going to paint these in hero-villain combos. I'll paint Red Skull after we get done with Cap. Abyssal, the name sounds familiar. Do you make games by any chance? As you can tell from our name, we are Monument Hobbies. We manufacture all of the brushes and paints that you see us use, and we are what we do. All right. There you go. I outed you live on stream. Abyssal makes tabletop games. Awesome.
He's been painting it, Messy Nessie. He's painted the whole thing on stream.
Yeah, this has been the last 3 streams.
Yeah, just the past week.
Yep. And all of them, we port all of our full streams over to YouTube now, so you can catch and fast forward through it and see how I do it from. I primed him live on stream, and every brushstroke's been done on stream for Cap. I've been going pretty fast.
Tomato, have a great holiday. Thank
Are
you
you
for
leaving?
hanging out with us.
Wad,
We appreciate you.
Oh
have
my
a
gosh.
wonderful holiday.
Christmas
see you on
is
the flip
this
side.
weekend?
It's
Ugh,
Monday.
It's so close.
What's that?
Oh, I was like, why is he?
It's
I was like,
this
oh, is he
weekend.
leaving for like won't see us till after Christmas? And then it didn't
nope.
say that. I was like, oh my gosh,
Monday.
Christmas is Monday.
Yeah.
Well-
Turns out 3 days from now.
Goodness.
Phoenix says, wait, is that another almost finished model? This makes like 6 in a few weeks,
What?
right?
Even
Because I did all
are
my
you?
Gorgers,
Mm-hmm.
which are close to done. I have to do like all the final like spotty detail and cleanup on them, but they're pretty close to done for tabletop. Just to get them to a point where I'm comfortable with them. I still have to work a little bit on the base. Last thing we did was just glaze the camo green on there to make it look like mossy grass, you know. But they're pretty close.
Be happy with
These
Phoenix,
guys were fun too. Some of the best models that GW has made, very characterful. I think a lot of the Warcry stuff has the ability to really rate very highly for you if you enjoy GW plastics, but you're looking for something that doesn't feel repetitive. Even though these guys are all similar materials and things like that on them, each one of them has a really good personality. So I give them a big, huge thumbs up for the Gorger Maw Pack. We know it's
Hey,
gorgeous.
thank you.
We know it's
Yeah.
gorgeous. It's just we're going with what Jen said.
Chuck
you,
really
Chuck.
likes Jabe's mix. Great color scheme.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really dig the turquoisey.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to go like thick highlights, kind of Tron-y, kind of very. I thought it looked fun.
But how do you feel about it now that you've got a mech where you kept your highlights consistent,
Good.
right?
Yes.
Can you tell the difference?
No. But I know that I will at someday. I think if I was really focusing on, actually, yes, because there
I
were
definitely
times,
can. Versus what you were doing before,
Yes,
you can definitely tell.
there were times where like on the leg I'd be like, that kind of looks funky, but I think if I look at it like this, it's better. I haven't been highlighting the back, and so I like that better.
Yeah.
Just to have that full.
Yeah, I mean,
range.
you know, we talk about it. The back is what you look at when they're your models.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your whole
definitely.
army, you have to watch from the back, right, the whole time.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah, I like
Abyssal, the goal with these guys was to give me a kind of very pale skin that looked like they probably lived in caves, but not do that standard GW boring gray to white that a lot of people do. So we chose to do a more desaturated skin tone that gave them that pale, you know, not quite albino feel, But it still makes it look alive. You still have some magenta and purples and stuff. So I started with purple in the shadows. See, if I turn it this way, you can see a lot more. Right.
Phoenix Mercer, you will not see us on Christmas. And Jason did watch Rebel Moon yesterday.
I did what?
You watched Rebel Moon.
Oh, yeah, I
last night.
watched Rebel Moon yesterday.
Did you like
This
it?
is my favorite model that I mentioned. Percival.
Percival's.
Percival goes on a pile of bodies, so his feet aren't painted yet. Because we got to put him on his pile of conquered bodies. But...
Did you like the movie? Oh.
Uh-oh.
Guess not.
I don't really know how to answer that question. I think that, and this is going to sound funny because Zack Snyder, it's his baby, right? He pitched it as a Star Wars movie, for all we've been told, and he got rejected, and so he went off and made it on his own. And it has very Star Wars feel. I can see that the overall storyline fits the Star Wars universe very good. They've obviously had to change it to make their own universe start to finish because Star Wars already has bookends, and you can make a story within those bookends and people would understand it. I feel like Rebel Moon, I'm missing about 80% of the story that you really need to see to make it a good movie. Mm-hmm. My brain was left to do all the fill-in work, and I had fun doing that just as a mindless kind of a thing, but I would be bummed if I'd have bought a ticket for it. You know? Mm-hmm. The fact that it's on my Netflix, as we're sitting there watching it, it's like, okay, meh. But I found myself in the last 30 minutes going, I wish this would hurry up and get over. And when I feel that way about a flick, it just already kind of puts it on what it is. It's not that I can say it was horrible. It had really neat sci-fi things in it. I like the kind of weird old spaceship Yamamoto feel of the battleship, the Dreadnought, and all the ships they had were really kind of cool, more Firefly-ish. You know, they weren't super sci-fi, so he had his own feel to it, I think. But the character development was atrocious. They went through the movie in 2 hours and 15 minutes. It should have been an 8-movie series because they have so many characters in it, and you only got backstory on like 2. Mm-hmm. But all the rest of them are supposed to be important. And so it made you feel like, oh, maybe we'll learn about them in the next movie. Yeah. And I hate that. Mm-hmm. I'm like, if they're important enough to be in this movie, tell me about them.
Yeah.
So, I feel like it's a bad one.
Jade, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you for hanging out.
Amory says, better or worse than Paramount Halo. I don't know anything about Halo, so I don't watch stuff about it. I never played the Halo video games, so it's just not my thing. But I heard the TV series was pretty bad, that it kind of wandered very far from what people loved about Halo, so I don't know anything about Halo, so I didn't care.
Chuck, if you're still here, I'm making some of your cookies tomorrow.
Jade, have a wonderful holiday. Merry Christmas. Enjoy the bag. I mean, you're not supposed to know about that, are you? You're getting a bag for Christmas. You're getting an Evo bag for Christmas, Jade.
Practice your surprised face.
Dang.
There's no Santa Claus.
Dang. That'd be fun.
Paramount Halo Shutter. We needed the director's cut. Oh, yeah, that's in the works already, Troll Blitz. Well, I think that's pretty shoddy, right? If that's the key, is that they just release some 2-hour and 15-minute schlock so that you can watch the 4-hour version. I feel like the first episode, so to speak, this part 1, whatever it is, should have been 2 movies, right? And they should have spent a lot more time on character development. You know, the lead character, the girl, I felt like there was a connection there, you know, with the character. You felt like, oh, I want to know more about this story. This is developing. It wound up developing more by the end. So that's why I can't say it was horrible. Because if it was just her against the world, it would have been a great movie. But they put her with like 6 other people that are her crew, and they have nothing known about any of them. Like, it was just like, you know, 2 minutes of talk. I mean, one of them, you could tell that they cut a big chunk of film out. Because they go from in their ship to riding an elevator with the next character. I mean, I think they showed the ship land. They never showed them meet this character. They never showed where she came from. They were just in an elevator with her all of a sudden. And then she fought some monster and was part of the group and said 6 words for the whole movie. You found out more about her from the dude who was excited about capturing them and was going around the bad guy, doing the James Bond bad guy thing. Oh, look, it's so-and-so who did all these things. What a great catch. And you learn more about each of the characters as he went around and told you what they had done. And that was at the end. So for the whole movie, you're like, oh, why are these people important? It's Snyder though. You're not sure he knows what character development is. I mean, I'm one of those guys that really like the Man of Steel, right? I thought the Man of Steel did a really good portrayal of the whole Superman thing. I thought it did a really good job with Kevin Costner in it. I thought that was a pretty good flick. It didn't feel like it had as many holes in it. The CGI was rough, and the battle scenes and stuff that people bitch about, but I feel like that's really glossing over the movie. There's been lots of movies with really bad CGI that I've still enjoyed and that people have enjoyed. I think they're just upset because it was Superman. 300, I think he did, and 300 was a really great looking movie. It followed the comic book almost religiously. So if you had any blame on 300, it would be on Frank Miller, not on Zack Snyder. Because I think he did it really well. I just think it too was more about the story, not the characters. So I have the same problem with I guess with Rebel Moon as it did with Godzilla, is that it didn't really. It was kind of more about the overarching story, and all these characters were introduced, and you got 10 minutes of explanation, and then they just were in there doing things.
Yes.
It was just a movie about doing things.
So I didn't grow up with Godzilla or like watching Godzilla, and it felt like a bad live action anime to me.
Yeah.
Where it just was like, people who grew up with Godzilla, I'm sure that was like all the nostalgia.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah, super cool.
It was awesome.
But I didn't grow up with that, so I was like, oh, this.
It was awesome because I love the original Godzilla that had well, I mean, they put Raymond Burr in it to Americanize it for American film. He wasn't in the original one, I don't think, the Japanese film. Yeah. But they put Raymond Burr in it, and I saw it with Raymond Burr, and I was like, oh my god! As a kid, who cared? This big rubber suit Godzilla was like the coolest thing ever. It made me watch all the Godzilla movies, even with Godzuki and all the stupid crap they did. But I don't commit anything to memory. I'm not a fan. I'm not a rabid fan like that. You watch me. I don't ever become like a super rabid participant in things. It's like me talking about Starfleet battles in the Star Trek game and stuff, and I'm like super excited to play it again, and it had really big flashback for me in the best way of my childhood playing this game, and I'm super excited about it. But people ask me questions, and I'm like, I don't know. I didn't commit it to memory.
Yeah. I
don't know anything about Star Trek other than the original series main characters. You can ask me about all the episodes. I don't know. What were the ships called? Enterprise? What about the Enterprise E? Which movie was that in? I don't know. If it's the Enterprise, it's the Enterprise. I don't know. Yeah, Saturday Monster Fest and stuff like that, Trollblitz. When I was born in the 70s, and that's what we had. We had like Saturday Monster Theater and stuff, and it would be like a King Kong or like a Godzilla flick or Ultraman. It was just great stuff. Because it wasn't around all over the place, right? They were very unique. So even when they were bad as a kid, you were like, you just didn't get exposed to it much.
Yeah.
Now you're exposed to it all the time, and now you can relate to it, or you can compare it to so many other things that they lose their mystique, I think. Sci-fi and fantasy just doesn't feel as punchy anymore, maybe, because there's so much of it.
Yeah.
Back when I was growing up, there was none of it.
There has to be good, like, a lot of the good stuff feels like recreations of stories that were already good.
Mm-hmm.
And lately it's trying to come up with something new, but even then, though, people are butchering good IPs.
Someone had a great commentary on writing. Non-fiction tells what happened. Fiction tells how it felt. Godzilla was supposed to be about how Japan felt having a monster destroy cities and then disappear back into the sea. Emery. I think that's just a thing that you see from Japanese entertainment anyway. They are not really about the character development as much as the story and how it involves the characters. And I'm okay with that, right? I identify it. It's just sometimes that's not what you want, because you'll see a character that you're like, oh, I really wish we knew more about that guy.
Yeah.
Because the other thing that Japanese kind of entertainment does is they do characters as almost caricatures of what they were shooting for. They go over the top. I call it the Japanese Elvis issue. Like, when I went to Tokyo, there was an Elvis every 3 or 4 blocks on Friday night, doing some entertaining thing, right, for a restaurant or something like that. And it was like, it was so over the top. It's like, it had people believe that Western culture was like that. It's like the whole we all wear cowboy hats and guns on our hips idea, right? Well, they were acting it out. And their movies do that too. So they make the characters more emotional, more evil, more than what they really would be. And in order to do that, it makes them almost cartoony. And I want them to spend more time on the character if they're going to do that. So it almost fights itself, right? Like they did that in Godzilla. The main character, the guy, was just way too over the top emotional for just being a story about PTSD, right? It was too much. So it needed to focus more on him and his struggles or something, because he was already like that when we found him at the beginning of the movie, and you wanted to know more. At least I did. So
the scene where Godzilla was like about to shoot the boats and he comes in with the plane, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, this feels so anime, where it's like this would have happened in 2 seconds, but it was like a 5-minute montage of his plane coming in. Everyone's like, oh,
the drama.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
the
it was so over the top.
Well, I mean, Japanese cartoons are the ones where the guy goes,
yeah,
and builds his power up for like 18 minutes while everybody sits around and watches, and then he kills them all.
And it's flashbacks.
It's like he could have just gone up and popped him while he was powering up or something, right? Stuck him with a needle, and the game would have been over.
Yep.
Who's your favorite over-the-top Elvis, and why is it Phil? Game delay, do you have a secret crush on Phil?
He's not here to defend himself.
I feel like Game delay likes Phil a lot.
Phil's a likable person.
He's a likable guy.
Sometimes. Game delay says I have a crush on running gags. What next? Shadows on the blue. I think we're ready to tackle the blue.
I think you should make him purple.
Well, I'm going to do purple shadows.
Oh!
I'm going to do some purple shadows.
Look at me. Look at me go.
I'm going to do some purple shadows with transparent purple.
Heck yeah.
I'm going to mix it up in a cup with some glaze and wash medium.
Actually, this is great for me to see how you do this, because
I don't paint shadows very often, which is interesting.
You usually do the shadow.
I do the shadow first, and then I build I build back towards it. On this guy, as I've developed the rest of the colors, the thing that I'm missing is a little bit more of that purple in the blue, so that the red doesn't stand out quite alone in the warm tones.
Game Delay said, if I've learned one thing from these streams, purple shadows.
Yep. Telling you, man, I'm a one track record, one trick pony. Purple is your ultimate shadow color. Payne's Gray, also very good. Any of the cool shadow tones that you can get. I tend to like purple more because, I mean, we can see it right here, right? It gives us a warmth that is not indescribable, but it really does a good job of bringing warmth onto a model or cooling off an otherwise warm model, because you can see here, right, how, let me find a red model where we did purple on, yeah. Right? So same thing on this guy. This guy's purple, right, on a full red model. And so it can cool the shadows off, right? And you don't see as much of the warmth in the shadow when you apply it onto a warm model like red, Blood Angels, whatever else you're going to paint, versus something where you don't have warmth in the highlights and it adds warmth to the model. So I get cooler skin tones and the purple. And of course we did dark magenta on this too, and the dark magenta is doing the bulk of the heavy lifting with the warmth. But it just does such a great job. And it doesn't matter if it's hard surface or flesh or whatever. You can pretty much get away with purple in the shadows on anything you do. Except for what? When do I not do purple shadows?
When he's yellow.
Well, maybe only because it would look too LA Lakers. But purple would work with yellow.
Ugh. Why don't you not use purple? If he was darker than purple?
No.
Because you just use dark purple.
Right too.
Hmm.
Gabe. You're failing me, Gabe.
I know. I'm really trying to think here.
When is the one time you would not use purple shadows? If he was purple, Slovak, yes.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't know this answer, but it seems like you wouldn't use purple shadows for purple.
Yeah, the only time purple shadows are not the perfect answer, but can still be the answer, is when the model itself is looking to be purple.
What about non-metallic metal?
What do you mean?
Could you use purple as shadows for non-metallic metal?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Dang it!
You can use it for anything.
I thought I gotcha.
I use
need
purple
to-
for shadows on gold for non-metallic metal all the time.
Gosh dang it.
I just need
I
to go see
think-
if I need to go to the post.
Okay,
I'll be back.
sounds
did
great.
they not show up?
No, they came, but I don't know that anyone
Ooh,
told them
oh, yeah,
to
duh.
stop shipping
Oh,
on weekend.
oh yeah,
Boxes
yeah,
just
yeah,
sitting here on
yeah, yeah,
weekend.
yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Yeah, greens, purples are my favorite for gold non-metallic. That's this. Ooh, that's still too opaque. Still too opaque. Add more water instead of more glazed wash medium.
Which time we got?
Keep
20
my mix,
minutes.
Keep my
Maybe I
mix
can
cheap.
finish these in 20 minutes. Let's see. Speed paint.
Game delay said it first, did he? Okay, game delay, you got it. Didn't mean to shun you there, buddy. Lone Samurai, 15 stream streak. Welcome back, man. Oh, speaking of game delay, did anyone tell him we called him out for the fraud he is last night? Game delay. Game delay, I need you to put your ear close to the speaker.
Hold him out.
You got called out because he left to be on time for his game. You got called out last night because your name is Game Delay, but you left the stream early to be on time for your game, which means you in fact did not delay your game. So, liar.
Ooh.
Game delay equals liar.
Liar.
He's like, oh no. Been
Liar.
found out. See, Treebeard? It wasn't me that figured this out, it was chat. He's like, I entirely missed the week before, so it's actually a full week behind everyone else. Treebeard says I'm in that game.
That's
See? Telling you. Watch out for that game delay guy. He's a liar.
funny.
Liar.
Certified liar.
Certified liar. He doesn't have a liar tag yet, but he's already like an honorable
there.
member.
Getting there.
So this is the kind of thinness that we've done with the glaze wash medium and water. By using the glaze wash medium, it's still controllable. It doesn't just slop all over the place. I can still make nice lines with it. It is pretty thin, but you know it's not going to drip like a full wash.
Thank you for the follow.
And the idea here is I'm going to go back over these areas that we have a little bit of this green
Hey, somebody likes us.
in the shadows.
Gotta go.
What's the matter? You just said that. Okay.
I said I went up to check to see if I have to go, and now I do have to go.
Oh, okay. Carter's not here. They left.
No, he's still here, but he's finishing up his stuff so that they can go.
Is Schlebby still here?
Yeah. She's out there still checking brushes.
Jabe, the thing I learned about Craft World Studio from Craft World Studio about NMM is you can put any color in the metal and get away with it.
Yep.
So now I know.
All
From
right,
Game Delay.
everyone. I need to leave to make sure that these boxes get out in the mail today.
Bye, Jen. Are you coming back?
No,
Nope.
Okay.
not to be coming back.
Have a great weekend.
yeah.
Have a great holiday.
Happy holidays, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully you have time with family.
Everybody say happy holidays, Lord Commander. Otherwise, you won't have presents under your tree.
Panic bomb, thank you.
By not saying that, Santa automatically puts you on his naughty list.
Thanks, everyone.
See that immediate shadow on his right thigh from the purple. What are you doing for dinner tonight? Stuff from that burrito. I still have half my burrito. Drive safe.
But you game night, right?
Oh, that's right. I forgot it's Friday.
forgot it's Friday. Bye, Jen.
Bye. Have a great Christmas.
Yes, you too.
He's gonna be in his pajamas playing video games with his mom.
Yeah. Play some Stardew Valley. Plant some parsnips.
That sounds horrible.
So fun. What do you mean? You don't like Chore Simulator?
No.
Pixelated Chore Simulator?
No. Not even a little bit.
It's so fun though. You get to pull weeds and water plants and feed the animals.
Breaking out into hives thinking about it.
It is pretty spectacular how one person was able to make that game though. There's a lot of cool stuff. I do like how small studios like that will always put Easter eggs all over the place
Yeah.
for you to find. And that one is chock full of them.
Is it?
Oh yeah, so many. And so many unanswered Easter eggs too, like things that people are like, hey, what's this? And he's like, nobody's found it yet. You're like, oh, that's crazy. But it's one of those games where you can like romance the villagers, right?
Yeah, I've seen that and cause problems and
Yeah, and there's one where you can. He added a little thing where if you date all of them at the same time, they have an intervention with you, and they'll like sit down and be like, "Hey, we were all talking, and
you gotta choose one.
well, they are like, we don't want, none of us want to be with you."
Oh,
Very funny.
that's too real.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's too real life simulator for me.
So, we've been talking.
Especially just using the transparent purple as a glaze. Moving around the model, finding places that would be darker than not. And put some volume back into his suit. Now that we've gotten the contrast for all the other parts looking good.
I just realized when I asked Jen if Schlubby was still here, it's not 4 yet.
No.
Which, then I would hope she's still here. Otherwise, she ditched. And that would not be good. Is Cap gonna cast a purple shadow too? Oh, you had like a glow that you're gonna do, right? From the base?
From the ground.
Yeah.
We've got that green underneath. So I'm glazing over the green a little bit to give me some darkness in my shadows, but I might put the green back on there. I haven't really determined yet. Got it on the shield and I like the way that it looks. So might do a little bit of glow there. But no, he won't cast a purple shadow. I'll typically do shadows that are cast on the ground, like you can see the legs right there if I choose a particular direction. The problem is you have to rotate it differently because the light's coming from over here, but the light in the room is coming straight down on him, so that, or from over his head, so the shadow will push forward. So I can't really trace. You always got to be careful if you're trying to trace. It would be more like, you know, none of these are really good. That's the closest I can imagine. Like maybe like that would be more how the shadow would be. So I would just do that with like a darker gray or a darker, green, depending on how I'm doing the base. But yeah, we'll put shadow on the base. It just won't be purple. It might have some purple in it, but There's really a chance for you to see the versatility of the transparents. They're so easy to work with once you thin them down. You can start darkening the model up, but you don't get really hard lines, right? He looks a ton different just with a couple of areas that I shadowed. And it brings out the bright contrast as well. You can see like I spent most of my time glazing right up here in the thigh in this kind of half moon section. So that gives a lot of dimension to his thigh here. I'll do the same thing over on this side. And then under the pecs on both sides. Brings that brightness and that definition that we did, because that bright spot on his chest makes a lot more sense now when you get that underpinning of shadow along the rib cage because of the shield, right?
Game delay, why are your eyes bleeding? Not good.
Website for Ollie's was made in the early 2000s. Ollie's? What is Ollie's? Game delay. I don't know this you speak of. But I've been dealing with a lot of that with the Starfleet battle stuff. All the web pages for everybody that has anything to do with Starfleet battles look like they were made in like 1999. Ugh, horrible. Horrible. Oh, a place with Rivet Wars? Yeah. There's a lot of, in our industry, a lot of old, non-maintained websites that feel like they're still run on like the, you know, with AOL, you can get your first website. All inline text with like a, if you're lucky, there's a menu along the side. If you're not, it's just links. The ADB place is just links in the inline text.
That's gross.
For like, go here, go here. They'll do like carriage return, link.
Yeah.
Carriage return, link. And it's written out. It doesn't say click here with a link embedded. It's like the link.
That's
like
funny.
This long link.
Copy this link.
Yeah. Hardcore. That's hardcore commitment to laziness right there. With all the Wix and things available nowadays.
Oh, the like super easy build a website kind of stuff.
Yeah, GoDaddy even started that, didn't they? They were like the first ones that had like the drag and drop builder for WordPress that you could throw in there so you could get like a site made instantaneously.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for having an inline website anymore. I heard the argument that people are like, yeah, but that's where we're back trying to replicate the inline website. I was like, yeah, but we're doing it with cool graphics and things that are clickable now, as opposed to just a bunch of text and ASCII code. I think we need to, this shadow here on his shoulder is all done by the light in the room. So I'm going to go ahead and add that shoulder shadow in with purple as well. So that it follows what we're doing with all of the other shading.
Slovak said, I'm kind of struggling with my PA paint. Is either too thin with zero coverage and wash-like, or extreme coverage and drowning out details. I try to follow the barely drenched brush, but I just can't replicate any tips.
You know, that's always a tough one because you're obviously dialed in on the fact that you're just having problems with thinning consistency, right? You watch how we paint, and it's really just about the water on the brush and layering up, right? So a lot of that has to do with just the painting habits on how you're applying paint, making sure that you're not looking to get everything covered in one go. That's a tough mindset to realize. Nothing that you've seen me done or that you've seen me do here has been done under the impression that I'm going to finish it with this one brush stroke, right? And that's something you got to get your head wrapped around. And when you do, you realize that you might be being frustrated off of, when you say it's thin, it might be thin, but what happens when you do coat number 2, coat number 3, right? And that's just painting. That's not with us. That's what you need to be doing with every paint that you use if you're looking for a really good finish.
One thing I do too is I'll if I'm just using the dampness of my brush, I'll paint on my brush and then I'll kind of wipe a little bit of it off next to it on the palette to kind of get that point back, so I'm not just putting a huge glob all at once. That's helped me with especially a high detail area.
Yeah.
That I didn't want all the recesses filled, like little like the little parts in his exhaust, all that stuff.
A little bit of shadow from his head, maybe on the chest area there. Slavic, generally that's where I go. Now, I always have a hesitancy to say that because I'm not there painting with you. I don't know your painting journey. As a teacher and as a manufacturer, a lot of times they go hand in hand because our goal is to make paint that helps you become a better painter, right? We always say that great painters can make any paint look good. Great paint makes every painter look good. And so Pro-Acryl is one of those great paints. It will give you better results. But we have to start from a foundation of understanding how paint applied to a three-dimensional surface is really going to work. Canvas painters sometimes have a big problem with this because on a canvas, you don't have to do as much layering. You can, but in a lot of cases, you just get a lot of paint. You spread it on the canvas because you're not worried about how that paint lays around the surface. It's flat. So you put a lot of paint, you spread it around, you get it filled in where you want, you take off what you don't, and you're left with what you need shape-wise. Then you shade it, you do whatever, and you're creating all those volumes. When we paint in 3 dimensions, the idea to get ingrained in your head is that it's going to take you 2, maybe 3 solid passes to get the color the way you want it, no matter what you're doing. Some colors take more, some colors take less. It just depends on where you're at. You might lay a highlight in and it only takes 1 coat because it's like the really last bright stroke of paint that you're doing. And you don't have to put a lot on, and it seats really well over the paint below it. And so there's interactions that might cause you to do more or less. Yellows and oranges and some greens that have a high yellow content are going to be thinner opacity paints to begin with. So you're going to need to spend more time layering those up no matter how you dilute them, right? Right out of the bottle, a color like bright yellow green is going to need 2 or 3 coats to give you coverage, even over another bright color in most cases. Sometimes different with airbrush and such, but you'll start to learn as you get more of a feel for it. But I think the biggest expectation that people come into miniature painting with is that I take the brush, I put it in the paint, I put the paint on the model, and if it's not exactly what I was expecting when it hits the model, I feel lost. And you got to remember that it's about that creation of layers of paint to get the effect you want. And then that also helps with as you start to develop your style, start to want to do things like layered shadows, that you'll start to have your dark colors go first, layer your bright colors over it, and you start to think about, I don't want this orange that I'm putting on over this brown to cover the brown entirely. I want it to show through so I get my shadows. And so you start to use that to your advantage, and that's why you'll see a lot of the painters as they paint more, that more of the well-known painters will talk about glazing and layering a lot because that's what they're doing. They're using the lack of opacity in the paint, what I'm doing right now with this transparent purple. I don't want the model to become purple. I just want shadows on my blue, and that's what I'm getting. But you've noticed I've had to do every area 2 or 3 times, even when I'm doing it very thin, because I don't want it to just look like, crazy amounts of paint on here. Let's go back to where it's just me, and I'll hit this super zoom, right? I don't want the purple to look like big blotches of color. I want it to be able to seed in there. So I'm doing it thinner where I need it to go into the bright blue, and then heavier where I need it to be a shadow that stands on its own, right? So I'm expecting to layer up. My reds, you can see where my mahogany is still left in this thin line on the left of that red stripe, then my burnt red, and then my bold pyro red. If each one of those colors was perfectly opaque and went down and gave me exactly what I wanted on the first brush stroke, you would see lines like a candy corn where you had one color, another color, right? So when you're blending, you don't want to see that. You want to have your colors kind of gently move into one another and out of one another so you get that nice shadow feel. And in order to do that, your paints are going to need to be a little less opaque. We've done the Thanos, if I hold it up here, right? Thanos has no blending, and it's used exactly like what we're talking about. Look, it's like candy corn. You can see every layer where the paint is. The brown, right? The mix of yellow and brown, the yellow ochre, the mix of yellow ochre and pale yellow, and then the pale yellow. You can see these geometric shapes all over him, little dots of color, and every color is nested inside itself. Like up here, you can see that sawtooth kind of highlight that I've done, elliptical highlights, and you can see a banding. Because I didn't use any blending techniques here. I didn't use hashing. I didn't use stippling. I didn't use anything. I just literally painted shapes. And those shapes follow one another and give you the same feeling of highlight and darkness, but look at the difference when you blend, right? So these are 2 very valid ways of painting, and you can see that both of them can look really, really good. It just determined by what you want your stuff to look like, right? And even here, I'm expecting to put 1 or 2 layers of paint on, maybe 3, but I'm not thinning my paint near as much because I want it to be opaque layers of paint to give me that very comic, cartoon, cel-shaded kind of look. Whereas with Captain America, I'm putting on multiple layers of paint because I want it to look well blended. Make sense?
One thing I found that's super, I think, underrated is using your thumb.
As a blending tool, I use it all the time.
Yeah, just to really understand
Nice,
the
Libby.
consistency of what you have on your brush, even if it's not like, sometimes it feels like a waste and you're like, oh, I'm just taking paint off on my thumb. But like you'll really start to see like, oh, that's what it feels like. That's what it looks like when I have not enough water or when I have enough water. Especially like what Game Delay said, all paints kind of have a different amount that you need to do with them.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well,
that's
remember,
a good way to understand it.
Slovak too, remember that, like, let's take my red, right? Let's take the red like we have on Captain America's shield where I have blends. I've used mahogany, burnt red, and bold pyro red, right? So these are the 3 colors that I've used for my red, right? And I mixed them together, not on the model, but on the palette. So one thing, and this is good for everybody to listen to, right? Let's go in and think in terms of, I'm going to put these 3 colors on my palette, okay? And if you're having trouble with blended and paint consistency and things like this is going to be very important for you to learn. Because there's lots of steps to learning. We all know, right? You don't start in college level math. You start with addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, right? Then you escalate. Unless, of course, you're Shelby, who is a muse at mathematics.
Oh, yeah.
So she just started with very high level calculus and algorithmic.
Yeah.
So true.
She's a kindergartner in college. It's really weird.
Yeah, very funny.
They're lying to you right now.
Not very many friends. So
Cuckoo.
so if we take the mahogany and lay it down in one stroke, right? And then take burnt red. I might get a little blending here because I'm going to try to put them fairly close together so they might blend along the edges. Not my goal, right? Put the burnt red down in one stroke, right? And then put the old pyro red down again in one stroke. Okay, that did pretty good. That didn't blend. Right?
Ghost Hunter, I did not find those left-handed paintbrushes, unfortunately.
Right? That would be something that if you were painting Blood Angels would not work well for you, but it does in that cartoony style. That's exactly the way I painted Thanos. right? I just laid colors down. So you can do it. You're probably going to want to mix more. You don't want to make that big jump in each of those colors, but you can, right? But let's say you just painted your model this way. You painted your whole model dark for your shadows, then you did your midtones, then you did some highlights. Your model's going to look a little funky because it's going to have banded color, so you're not going to be happy with your blends. But watch this. Let's just say you did this. Let's just say you painted your whole model this way. And maybe one day I'll paint a model this way, okay? Then let's take some burnt red and some mahogany and mix them together on my palette to get a color in between the two, right? And then let's just paint that right in between those, okay? Hard to do on my hand, but you get it, right? Right? And without doing anything, now I've blended those two. My band of color went away, right? Do the same thing, take some burnt red and some bold pyro red to make a color right in between them visually, right? And then you paint that right in between where you have that line of color. Now look. Now I have a blended Space Marine. It doesn't have that same candy corn blending. So you can get away with doing that, and all you've had to do is mix twice, right? I got a lot of red up here, so I'm going to go ahead and a little bit more there. Too much. But none of that was glazed. None of that was any thin. That was just taking paint, but I mix it on the palette so you can change it from being that stair step of color to getting a blend. But you could technically paint it with the stair step color so it makes sense for you and you're getting coverage. And when you get done, you get something that looks more like Thanos, that has hard edges between all your colors, but then you go back between each of those edges you've created and paint the in-between mix color and you can smooth it out. I don't know that you get to the Captain America style, you get my drift. There's a lot of non-metallic on Thanos, so it's a lot more contrast. That's a great method to learn blending. It is what some of the most well-known artists in the miniature space actually do when they paint their models, right? So this is one of Flame On Miniatures. Mashik. It's one of his big secrets is that he paints in this banded color method that shows very stark contrast between them, and then he goes back and spends all of his time blending those colors together. So he paints in between the lines a lot, and you get super smooth blends. Your blends become smoother the more colors you use to create the banding from dark to black to begin with. And so when you look at the model initially, it looks really weird because it's got all the colors in very comical, strips of color that sit next to one another. But if you think about going back and blending those little areas in between each color by mixing it off of your palette, then at the end you get a very, very smooth blend. So the painters that like to paint that way because they don't want to spend all the time blending before they know it looks right on the model. So it gives you a good way to build up what we call a sketch on the model so that you know your highlights are where they want to be, that your coloring looks the way you want it to be, and then go back and blend your colors towards the end. You can do that with an airbrush, you can do all that kind of stuff.
Jabe, I like the way your mech is turning out.
Thank you. This is fun because this is the first one I did in this style, the way I did it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I've learned the right way, I did a big old blob here though that I have to go back and fix, but it feels better. I now see the difference.
Yeah,
because
good.
it is a model that I painted.
Now you've changed it.
Yep.
You knew what it looked like before you made the change.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And Slovak, don't think in terms of, hey, I just can't get it. How long have you been painting? If you don't feel comfortable typing in chat, just think about it in your head. Right? There is no way to, reach the promised land of perfect paint in a short amount of time. So don't even feel bad. You'll get there. Find steps along the way that make you feel like you're achieving results that are pushing you closer to what you're desiring your paint to look like. And don't worry about perfection straight out of the gate, right?
Ghost Hunter said Jabe is an acceptable Jordan replacement.
I'm acceptable.
I like that.
I definitely can't paint like Jordan, but I appreciate
It's high praise.
it. It is high praise. I think that is a very high compliment.
Being bad is how we get good. This is definitely the truth. Being bad is how we get good. you know, the good and bad of the internet is that it's so easy to get information on how to improve your skills at anything, right? What do you want to do? I Google it, right? I got a website for you. You can get better at it by watching these videos and so on. The bad thing is that it's so easy now to understand where you are at any point in that journey, because there's so much to look at that you can compare your work to. So whereas it used to be me painting in my house when I was 10 years old, there was only a few things to look at. And so you saw one or two people doing great things and you knew they were the people you were achieving, but you thought along the way you were doing great.
Yep.
You're like, oh, hell yeah, I can see what I'm doing better every day, because you didn't have any noise. There was no internet to look at to see all the millions of people painting better than I was. I just looked at what I painted yesterday, looked at what I'm painting today, and I'm like, hell, that looks a lot better. I'm doing great. I'm able to achieve the at the time it was Shepard Payne was my idol. I'm like, I will be the next Shepard Payne. And I felt like I was making strides towards that. Nowadays, you're screwed, right?
Yeah.
Because nowadays, every time you open your eyes, you've got 5 million amazing miniatures painted. You're sitting on Twitch watching it, YouTube watching it, wherever watching it. And
You're here.
It puts you in a position. Huh?
I said, you're here.
It puts you watching stuff that you feel like is unattainable in every direction except on your table. And when you're on your table now, it makes it easier to feel like you're doing something inferior. Stop it. Stop it. Tune out all the noise.
Yeah.
Everything you do should only be compared against the last thing you do. And if it's because you're having trouble with a new paint like Pro Acryl, just spend some time working on some test models to get the paint that you're working with to work the way you want it to, right? Play around.
Heck yeah.
You know, that's really the goal. Tune out the noise. Get focused on just comparing the model you're painting now to the last model you painted.
And then add stuff slowly too. So don't, try to pick up a model and do every little technique that Jason's doing. Do like one thing at a time. Like, okay, most of us start with base coat, wash, dry brush, highlight. That's at least how I started and how
100%
started. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm pretty good at that. Let's try edge highlighting now. And that's where I'm at, is starting this. I'm like, this is starting to come out better and better each time. And then once I'm done with that, I'll probably move on to blending and, go to different things.
Exactly.
Trying to learn 8 different techniques at once is almost
Possible.
You're getting better at them as you're doing them, but it feels slower because you're spending time doing 8 different techniques rather than
But yeah, it feels
repeating one.
insurmountable at some point. You look at yourself and you're like, what the hell am I even trying to do?
Yeah. And it's like, hey, I need to paint fire for this one dude. Find 6 or 7 more models that need fire. Do it over and over again.
Yeah, T. Schmidt made a good point. He was saying, like, don't be afraid to, like, if you're gonna mess up on your expensive models, because it's paint. You can just paint over it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean,
T. Schmidt has learned. He knows the deal. He's been here long enough.
I've got a big old blob I messed up on right here that I need to go back and fix.
We're
But
not making heart monitors, folks. There is no emergency signal that you got to call in the professionals for. You just strip the model.
Yeah.
Start over.
I don't think I've ever had
The
to strip
only
a model,
waste of
though.
time is not painting.
Now that needs to go on a t-shirt. That's a good book title. Jason, you should write a book now.
There you go. Great. I'll get right on that, Gabe.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We'll just take
Can you put that on my to-do list?
Yeah, we'll
That's
take all
awesome.
the
Thanks.
captions from the last 7 years of streaming and make that a book.
Awesome, thanks.
Yeah.
Really needed, Chet.
Yeah, you're
But
probably
you'll
you're
need to
probably
write it
halfway
by
done with
hand because that just adds to the value,
Slayer Street, take it easy, man. Have a wonderful holiday.
Just like that. You got some wrong way.
Not enjoying the feedback loop you're giving yourself as you can tell what's wrong, but you can't see what should have happened to get the paint where I wanted it to be. So another good tool to remember is that all of your brush strokes.
Bye, Kyle. Merry Christmas.
Hey, happy holidays, Kyle. See you, man. Another great thing to always
Carter.
remember is that
Bye,
when you're
William.
painting, the brush stroke should always go to where you want the paint to live. Right? One big problem that I see a lot of painters, even really good painters, do is, let's say I wanted to put a shadow on Cap's helmet. and I wanted the shadow, obviously it's brighter up on the top of the helmet, and it would be darker down along this ridge right here, and it would be bright on this flange at the bottom. So I want all my darkness to be in this area down here, right? If I do my brush strokes, which a lot of people will do this, they'll be like, okay, I want my purple here, so they'll put the purple there, and then they'll paint it up like this. I just have water in my brush, don't worry, right? They'll paint it up like this, right? That's not what you want to do, because you're actually moving the paint away from where you want it, and the paint's out here, okay? Think about, and this is the easiest thing that I can tell you, is the analogy is, if you've ever used a broom, raise your hand if you've used a broom, right?
Yes.
What's a broom?
When you take a broom and you sweep dust, what happens? You just start from where there's dust over here, and you sweep the dust along. What happens? You move the dust into a pile at the end of your broom stroke, but you leave a comet tail, I call it, of little fine dust behind it, because the broom can't get it all, right? The broom can get thick stuff, right? But it can't get the really fine stuff. And the fine stuff is the thin paint that we paint with as miniature painters. And so when you make that brush stroke, which is the broom moving, you're moving all the pigment to where you stop your stroke, and you leave a tail of pigment behind. And that tail of pigment is at its least opaque where you started your broom stroke. Make sense? So if I instead move my paintbrush from up here, which is scary to people, they think, oh my God, I don't want a lot of shadow color up there. But if you start here and move it down here, you'll wind up with all your color at the bottom, because you've pushed it just like that dust down to the bottom, right? And so your shadow will be down here as opposed to up here where your brush stroke. Now you'll have to figure out, like, over time you'll get good at making thinner brush strokes so that you can kind of blend it at the beginning. That's stuff that you'll learn along the way. But the idea is move your brush from where you don't want this color to where you do want this color, right? And you'll have a lot better time. That'll help you as you're learning how to thin your paints, because if you are fussing around with the consistency of your paint and also moving your brush around in the wrong directions, you're moving what little pigment you have when painting with thin paint to the wrong place, and that's going to be super frustrating because your model's going to look wrong. Right? Your brain knows where the color wants to go, but you have to understand that the brush pushes the color, right? It doesn't pull the color. Does that make sense?
Yep.
What are brooms, says Overlord Tweak? The one guy.
I know what a shark vacuum is.
This is all great material for your book, Jason.
There you go, right? Speaking of which, let's put some purple on his helmet. Again, I want the purple to be down here, but I'm going to start up top and move the purple down into that shadow area. I'll start pretty close to the shadow area first. So, and this is really thin, and I started with purple transparent paint. So this is about as thin as it's going to get, right? And as Gabe was saying, right, I do that line, and then I take my finger and I go doot, doot, and blend the edge there. Then I'll take a lot of the paint off, and with much less paint on my brush, I'll come up a little bit higher, and I'll bring my brush stroke down to just meet where this other brush stroke started. Not all the way to the bottom, just to that edge in between. And then right across the top of that, blot with my finger. Now I'm creating my blends for my shadow as I go, right? This side of his head can be pretty much, why am I painting without my glasses? It's fine until I have to get around this damn wing thing on the side of his head. Even though I want this entire side of his helmet to be darker, I still am moving the darkness towards the bottom here. This comes around away from my light, so I'm going to darken the edge of this flange up a little bit too. Always pulling my color over towards the side I want the darkest, like that. These are all techniques regardless of the paint you use. These are not pro acrylic specific things. These are painter things. And they are things that most people don't tell us because they become so ingrained in how we paint once you've been painting long enough that you forget about it. You're always pulling the paint to where it needs to go. You're very rarely ever pushing paint across a model surface. That makes sense. This is the first moment where I've ever thought about how dumb it is to put tiny little wings on the side of your combat helmet. Exactly. Exactly. That's just his branding. Which I like the movies because of that. They literally just put him in branding. His whole costume was just built to be his brand.
Yeah.
They didn't want him to go fight. You're a poster boy.
Yeah.
So here's the clothes that is your costume. It was a costume. It wasn't a uniform. And then as he developed up until in-game, it became a uniform. It had less branding, and it was built for speed.
Yeah.
It was built for beating the crap out of people. So I thought that was really cool watching Cap's progression go. Kind of like Iron Man's ability to wear his suit and be better. I think the Marvel Universe did a really great job because Spider-Man started being like running into walls and didn't know what the hell he was doing, and then he got better as he went. I thought they did a really good job with some of the characters of doing that well.
Yeah.
Some of them we never really saw in that regard, like Hawkeye and Black Widow just kind of showed up being badasses.
Which
but
I love Hawkeye, so I wish that there was more backstory.
yeah, right. He and Black Widow, they did a Black Widow movie, but it was meh.
Yeah.
Well, it also wasn't. It was kind of like an in between.
Yeah, it wasn't like a beginning
Yeah.
origin story. Some of it was the dancing school or whatever.
Yeah, and they had like her sister in it and stuff, but
You've 3D printed too many minis now. Don't put the tiny wings on things, people. Some sculptors, we talk about that a lot. Some sculptors come from like video game world, and they're fantastic sculptors, but they've never had to sculpt things that are physical. Like the wispy things that work in the video game world don't work when you print it in resin, turns out. They break off. Yeah, that purple was the right choice. We gonna keep going? It's 4:20. When's your mom getting here?
I don't know. I'll probably need to go after I finish up these windows, though, because I have a buddy coming. I don't want him to feel weird sitting out there.
Feel we can come and sit in here.
Good. He totally could. Will he? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the real question.
All right, almost done. Could do some highlights. I'm doing these winders, with sky blue and white blue. Good color combo. A little bit, just a tiny bit. Yeah, cornflake. A good airbrush is chef's kiss. Best.
Even a bad airbrush
Not if it breaks on
is
you.
worth having. I mean, yeah, if it costs you freaking time every time you pick it up, then no. But
Chris found a cool. He's like, I found this cool cheap one, and it keeps breaking on him.
Of
He
course
keeps
he
returning
did.
it.
of
And
course, yeah, it's so Chris.
it's very Chris.
That's like
It's-
the Chrisest.
It's
thing
one of the
I've heard in
ones
a
that
while.
has the portable air tank on the bottom of it.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh
in
my
there.
God, the USB charging one. My God, Christopher.
The air tank doesn't break. It's always the cheap airbrush that comes with it.
Christopher.
So funny. Sometimes when I'm doing detail work, I just nail it. I absolutely nail it. And then sometimes
feel
it's-
good?
And then sometimes it's like, was I holding it like with my fist trying to paint it? What's going on?
How many have you done so far?
Incorrectly?
Sure.
No, I have painted. There's 5 here, and I have 2 at home, or one in my office, and then 1 at home because I forgot it. Because I was showing it to somebody, and I didn't put it away. Just put it on a shelf, and I was like, I'll get that later. Can you guess what I didn't get later?
That.
That. Exactly. Classic move.
It's your brother.
Yeah, I know. That's
So
why
I
say it's
have
classic.
7 now, and I have a lot more to paint.
Game Delay says, Jason, remember your chocolate.
Ooh.
Oh, game delay. Friend. Thank you.
Is he talking about your stocking?
No, the chocolate that we got sent by the LTL vendor we use.
Oh.
The shipping vendor. One of them, but our biggest one. They sent us a box of chocolates.
Oh my gosh.
A box of chocolates.
A box of chocolates?
All right. Oh, I got one more thing to do. It's my favorite part. My favorite part about painting minis is the very end when you black out the edges of the base. I always wait to do it at the end because to me, that is a completed model.
Yep. It feels so good.
It feels great.
Looks great. Feels great. Is great.
So that's what we're going to do next. Brushes.
Jason, what's your favorite kind of chocolate?
Dark.
Ah, yes.
Wrong.
Like
Wrong
80%.
Yeah.
Incorrect.
I can do like 94.
Ugh.
That's a little bitter for me, but I'm with you. I get I applaud the goal there.
Like 94%?
Some
Oh
of it's a
my
little
gosh.
too rich for me.
You're eating
There's
tree
a
bark.
percentage of this stuff.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
get different percentages of cocoa. It's the best when you have one with a high percentage and then you eat something with like a little bit lower and it makes it taste a little sweeter.
Oh yeah. Doing like wine tastings with super bitter chocolate and then red wine.
I mean, no.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That's not how that works, is it?
Yeah.
Schlebby can't drink.
What?
With parental supervision.
That's true. It is legal in the state of Arizona.
With a parent.
Yeah.
At home.
Other states where that's like considered
Yeah, they'll break down your door.
They'll find you.
They'll watch through your dining room window. Be like,
where it's like child endangerment.
Yeah.
you're giving your kids wine.
No, I just know that I think it's like 16 in Arizona.
Oh, when you can.
Yeah, when you can drink with parental supervision.
So the fact that I started with my nephew when he was like 5.
Oh my Yeah. That might not hold up.
Hey, you know what? Like when you're not a really good babysitter, but you really need the kid to shut up.
I've heard
Right.
about that. Doing like put your thumb in like whiskey and let them suck on your thumb.
Yeah, right. I don't understand. What's the
Heard
problem? I didn't do that, chat. Just for the record. Just for the record, chat. These things I speak of never happened. Don't believe William if he ever comes in here and says different.
T. Schmidt said dip the pacifier in the bourbon.
Mm.
Can't you like I feel like you could probably squeeze up some liquid in pacifiers depending on what kind of pacifier it is.
Oh, like a baster.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, bourbon baby baster.
Now we know if Shelby shows up to work with a pacifier that we need to be concerned.
Oh, jeez.
Why does this juice taste like NyQuil?
Dang. You guys are rough.
Now it's melatonin. Mmm. Mmm. This looks good. We're getting there. Gamely says, okay, I have 5 kids and I will judge you for giving baby bourbon. I won't judge you for a lot of other things, but I know it's possible to raise kids without using bourbon. Bourbon for your kids or for you? It's 2 different things.
That's a good question.
I feel like, Shelby, our parents never had, like, I barely ever saw them have drinks.
Yeah.
And then once we were all adults, they're like,
Broke
all
out
right,
the bottles.
we're breaking out the cocktails.
Pretty
Who wants some
much.
bourbon?
Yeah, it was like when I turned 16.
Yeah, it was after I had left the house.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, Gabe's gone.
They got really cool.
Yeah, we can be cool now that Gabe's gone.
Yeah.
Well, they
Oh,
knew
yeah.
you were a dangerous kid. They couldn't show you where the keys to
Yeah.
the liquor cabinet were.
I know.
Gabe would have been like the evil maestro.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember, like, I left home and I would like go hang out, right? But it really hit me when I grew up. If I was listening to music with bad words in it, it was not good. It was bad day for Gabe. He got caught. And then then for Christmas, the year after I had moved out, my dad gets my brother a rap album. I'm like, what the heck? Like, yeah, we listened to J. Cole and Chance the Rapper and all these people together.
Yeah, probably like
I'm
Kendrick
what is-
Lamar or
yeah,
something.
Yeah. Drake. Like, what is going on? Why is it different for me?
Got screwed, Gabe.
Yeah.
Got screwed.
Yeah.
funny.
And me and my brother would always ask my parents, like, can we try your drink? Because my dad would have beer every once in a while. Or they'd have a glass of wine, and they're like, no, you can't. And then Shelby turned 16, and they're like, here's a cocktail.
Here's this whiskey sour
yeah.
made of $90 whiskey.
It's
She's the
funny.
young one that can do no wrong. What are you talking about?
I know.
I mean, she's
So-
even got me convinced.
So
Hi,
dumb.
Mom.
Hi.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, guys. Guess who I brought?
Your battle tech.
Dad.
Oh!
Oh my gosh.
Holy
Hey,
Fisher
Dad.
family
Join me.
takeover.
I know. You said
we
you
were just
weren't
talking
gonna
bad
be
about
here.
you. I nearly said when he told his bad story about you, my first response was, I'll take that up with Jason next time I see him. That was my first response.
Yeah.
Gabe's dad's name is Jason, and he happens to be here.
I was telling them how if I ever listened to music growing up with bad words, it was not a good day for Gabe. But then the year after I had left home for Christmas, you got Jesse a J. Cole album or something, and I was like, what the heck?
Like a rap album.
Yeah.
Parent advisory, explicit language.
Yeah. I was like,
And
what
Gabe's
the
like,
heck?
wait a minute. I got robbed.
I have no memory of that.
I got robbed. Oh, Dad's doing the denial
He
thing.
blocks
over
it
here.
out.
That's
Yeah, and then
funny.
we were talking about how, like, after Gabe left the house is when you guys started, like, letting Jesse and I drink.
Here's a cocktail. Here's some
Yeah.
wine.
Game Delay says while bourbon is not allowed in raising babies, sugar, commercial television, and severe emotional repression are the correct ways to raise children.
Yes. Here's your tablet and a bag of gummy worms.
Game Delay, I feel like maybe we need an intervention. I'm just saying, we're friends here. I'm working for you, buddy. I'm working for you. Shelby might need to Google flask cap. I feel like just by now that I've read that, T. Schmidt, she definitely does not need to Google that. Shelby, put your fingers in your ears. You didn't hear that.
La, 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 la.
Boom. 5 mechs.
Do you want to prime my guy
Blammo.
while you're there?
Sure.
I have gotten Captain America to a pretty good state. I need to still do a little bit of work on him, but I'm pretty happy with where he's at right now. Next up will be Red Skull. Arch Nemesis Skull.
Cool.
Yes. What colors will you paint him?
Red Skull?
Yeah.
Probably black coat, because everybody always has a problem painting black fabric and armor.
I'll make his head
So I'll
blue.
spend some time doing kind of a heavy black leather coat. And then, of course, Red Skull will be red. But I'll use some fleshy reds, whereas Cap has just been, red.
Yeah.
More like dyed fabric and metal. I'll on Red Skull, I'll use some fleshy reds, so we bring out a little bit more skin tone on him.
Nice.
And he's actually, I won't say he's gonna be easy, but he doesn't have a lot going on. He's got like, I mean, I feel like his pants and his boots, and it'll just be a study in how to make different black things look different fabrics and materials of black. Because he doesn't have like belts or anything. I mean, he does have a belt, but I assume with a black coat, we'll probably do black belt and everything like that. He'll look good just black and red.
Nice.
And then cap.
Yeah, it looks super cool.
I love these guys. They're a lot of fun to paint. They're super cool. I've got Old Man Logan too. He doesn't inspire me to paint him as much as Cap did. When I went in there and I was like, what are the first ones I wanted to paint? It was Captain America and Red Skull for some reason. Spider-Man I think would be really cool, but again, I'm kind of like, I'm not as jazzed to paint Spider-Man.
Why aren't you jazzed to paint Spider-Man?
I don't know, man, because he wears the ones in the masks don't jazz me as much as the ones that have, like somebody was saying, like the chipmunk cheek, Captain America, because he's got like the chibi cute face thing going on. I think that gets me more interested. I don't know. I don't have a good excuse.
No
I have
good
5
excuse.
million models is probably the reason why I don't really want to paint anymore.
I feel like it's fun painting the Marvel models because you have something to like base it off of a little bit. At least
See, and that's
for
why
me.
I don't like it. But
Oh
I get
yeah,
it.
that's why I would.
I get it. Like
it.
Jordan's a really big box art painter. That's what he's done for his living, right? Is he painted box art for
Yeah.
Privateer Press and for BAM, and so he really likes taking whatever the concept art was and recreating it. It's a challenge for him. And so painting Darth Vader and Spider-Man and all that stuff he really
Right.
digs. Me, I like painting things that don't have a color palette that anybody knows about.
Right.
Right? I'm like, hey, what color is this guy supposed to be? It's nobody knows.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's whatever you make it, because then my brain can go wild and I don't have to have a plan. I can just kind of step along, and I'm sure people in chat get frustrated with me because I'm like, I don't know what color I'm doing next. And I just kind of randomly pick something, and then we put it on the model, and everybody's like, that shouldn't have worked, and that's just kind of the way I
Yeah.
paint, because I like the chaos of art. I just like not knowing. I don't go in. I don't like to feel. Everything else I do around here has to have a plan. And so painting for me is a getaway from that. I just kind of throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. But I've really had a good time painting Cap, even though I grew up with Captain America. I know what Captain America looks like, but it's a great model.
Yeah.
So some of them just jump out and really make it worthwhile to throw paint at. So there you go. There you go.
That's awesome.
But with that, gang, we're going to leave you for the holidays.
Womp womp.
Bye.
Oh, happy holidays.
We've got game night around here, so we're going to have our final... I don't know if this is final game night. I don't know if anybody's coming next Friday or not. We'll see.
Probably.
But this may be final game night. But the fun thing is that you guys are all going to play BattleTech.
I know.
I'm going to sit around...
Yeah.
I'm going to sit around and heckle the Fisher family.
We need it. We need it.
Yes.
This is my life today, guys. So have a wonderful, happy holiday season wherever you are in the world. No matter what you celebrate, please have a wonderful weekend. We love you around here. If you're new here, you have not found us before, please hit that follow button. We'd love to see you back. We stream 5 days a week from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, Mountain Standard Time. So we'd love to have you back here. Make sure, I guess I'm in charge of links today
Yeah.
because we have no producer.
No
My
producer.
first producer's at home. My second producer is painting mechs. What is the world coming
We
to?
haven't trained our third producer yet.
Yeah, we haven't trained the other producer yet. She's sitting in the comfy chair with mom. Jeez, man.
What?
Yeah.
So the store link and the FLGS link will get you to find places where you can buy our wonderful Pro Curl products. So
Like these.
if you have a local store next or close by to you, we recommend you buy it from them. Please support your local gaming stores. And if not, then you can buy it direct from our web store. And then go check out our Discord. That's this one, if I can type right. That link will get you to our community of over 3,000 amazing artists just like yourselves. You can come hang out, get some great inspiration, tell fart jokes, have some fun. And then last but not least is the YouTube link where you can find all of these videos that we capture during our streams posted up a couple of days later. You're generally a day or later.
Yeah, I try to. Sometimes
Stuff like this
if
will probably
there's
be
lots-
next week.
If there's lots going on, it takes a little bit, and I'll put them
But
up.
yeah, we capture all of these in their entirety, so if you miss something, you want to see something that we painted and catch a little divot or go back to it and review it when you've got a model that's similar, it's all archived over there. So again, love your faces. Don't go change and have a wonderful holiday, and we will catch you back here on Tuesday. Remember, no stream on Monday, so enjoy the holidays. We'll see you later, gang.
Bye.
Everybody say bye!
Bye.
Bye.